Hi, everybody. It's Gene Simmons, and you're not, and you're listening to the Potter Than Hell podcast with Steve, BC, BB, and Dylan. But you knew that, didn't you?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is your last stop on the crazy train of hard rock and heavy metal. So sit back, buckle in, and hang on. Here we go.
Hello, Potter Than Hellions. Welcome back to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is Steve, your semi-host for the evening.
You're still a host.
I am. Well, that's true, too. With me tonight is
BC
and
BB
Dylan.
And Dylan.
All right. I'm a little unprepared because I thought Dylan was hosting the whole thing, but I'll do the beginning because Dylan's going to run the thing later on. Anyway.
I already did a lot of work for this episode.
All right. Well, true. That's true. BC, how are you, buddy?
Good.
You look a little scraggly tonight.
I fucking came home. I've been freezing. I don't think I've been out of a sweatshirt since
That's
I
the
came
sun
home.
poisoning.
Well, that too. And I was talking to my lawyer today. We got a good lawsuit.
Good. How about you, BB?
Doing good and kind of calm down the hill, so everything is
Good.
okay.
Like the Carhartt boys here.
Yeah,
tonight.
right? Holy cow. I called BC, what do you wear? I'm going to wear my Carhartt hoodie.
Well, you're ready for
Okay.
Christmas. You got fucking green and red on there.
There you go. He goes, okay, I'll put mine on.
You gotta lose the Bills hat, though.
Whoa.
What do you mean, whoa?
Watch your tone.
Whoa, this. How about you, Dylan? How's it going, buddy?
Busy day at work, but going well. Going
Good.
very well. Excited for the 3-day weekend coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Memorial
That's
Day,
right.
yep.
That's right.
Ready, how about you? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm sick of this fucking weather. We had 2 nice days in the last 9. Now it's not supposed to be nice for another, 9 days or some
We're like in
goddamn
fucking Seattle here.
Pain in the ass.
9 days of rain.
But the grass got cut yesterday by my awesome godson. Cut the grass, so...
About time.
That's all right. Well, there was a very narrow window to get this done
that's
here.
true.
So everything's good, though. Everything's good. Glad to be here with the boys again. And what did we do last week?
Boys. Last week we had BC's birthday episode.
We did indeed. I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. The one album was
The Chris Caffrey one.
No, I like that one better. I like the tough love.
Tough Love, yeah. Was
Tough
the,
Luck.
Tough luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tough Love for Tough Luck.
Yeah. But I the Chris Caffrey one. I mean, just get Ripper Owens to sing on that or someone. But the musically was fucking awesome. And then what else? The Babylon AD Live was fantastic, and the Bites album was freaking killer. I had a good one. What do you think, BB?
Yeah, that was a great episode. And BC, I hope you know that Kiss Caffrey just released a 3-song EP the other day.
See?
I saw that. Did you listen to it yet or no?
I gave it the 10-second shuffle.
Uh-oh.
I think it's just like a lot of the other stuff he just brings out. Like the music, it is just absolutely phenomenal, and the vocals are absolutely shit. So,
I think he put that out for BC's birthday.
I think it was.
It was too bad it didn't come out before we recorded, because that could have been like the bonus tracks.
Yeah, it came out before May 21st. I don't even know what today
That's
is.
today.
That's today? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, it came out today.
That's good. Oh, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, there was one song released before that, though, that it came up on my
okay.
thing, but the whole thing must be out today.
Well, there you go, BC. Now you can listen to Mr. Caffrey.
What'd you think, Dylan?
I still have that plea for me, Magic Man. Waking me up at night in a cold sweat. That album was not fun for me, but the rest of the albums were good. I did enjoy them. And I've now permanently cemented that I'm not a Sabotage fan, so it's good to, know your limits, I'll say. I like a lot of artists, and unfortunately, Sabotage is not going to be one of them. I don't think they're in the level of oh please God no that Whitesnake and Wasp later Wasp are for me. But if we keep pushing them on the podcast, they might be.
That's your consolation prize, BC.
I was going to say, are they by White Snakies? Okay.
Yeah, they're not at the Whitesnake level yet. They don't have that longevity yet in my in my head for that. I don't listen to them as they're not. They don't appear as often. I'll say.
Okay.
Well, BC is going to do like BB does. So like BB
Oh,
does the
God.
Steel Panther. So he's going to do all the Chris Caffrey solo albums every year.
It's like a kind of getting back at my birthday albums in a way.
You're still paying for Weezer.
Yeah. Well, you like the other Weezer album, the Van Weezer.
That was okay. Yeah, that was all right. Because it was actually like rock music, not whiny shit. Anyway, what do you think, BC?
If I had my arms up for a little bit there, I was getting beat up.
You almost got knocked out in the
I was
second
getting knocked
round.
out, like,
Woo!
That doesn't happen. That probably happens the least to BC.
Yeah,
For sure.
You know what?
BC's
It does.
a pretty affable music
Yeah.
picker.
It does. He's usually not on the ropes.
Just had a bad couple rounds, BC.
I was up against the ropes there for a bit. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, that's like the first that I don't know. Like I said, he doesn't usually get shit on.
Yeah, you were like Ronda Rousey, where you had that like undefeated streak, and then like
and then that
one
was
match you get knocked out in like the first 10
Yeah.
seconds.
Boom, boom, boom. Stop hitting me.
Kicking my arms up.
Speaking of BC, you went to the Boardwalk Rock Festival this last weekend. Fill us in. What's going on? Who went and how'd you make out?
That was me, Chris Granza, and Ray. I'm going to kill his last name, so I'll just call him Ray.
Ray of Sunshine.
We went down Friday, a day early, and to chill out and relax, and that turned into a disaster because we went out and were out until 3:30 in the morning.
More on that in a minute.
So that was unplanned. And then Saturday was the first day of this festival. I mean, the people that do it do a country one and like an oceans one, which I guess is just radio stuff. Like
Yeah.
bands
Like
that
pop,
are
probably like pop stuff.
And it's just too many people. Everything was taxed. Everybody's taking the bus.
And it's all like on the beach, right?
The big main stage is all on the beach. There's a Thunder stage is the big one. Bolt stage is half. The front part is in the sand, and then there's a lightning stage that's on the pavement. But people wise, there's like at least 8 to 10 gates, and it's just you're lined up blocks. It was just.
I saw pictures. I'm like, oh,
It was just.
shit.
It was just really crazy. I don't know. It was hot as hell.
So you going next year?
They would have to really, like you said, if you're somewhere you can walk from it, you'd be good. Yeah. You need to get transportation or get anywhere. Like we're 8 miles up the road from it. So for us,
You didn't walk it?
They probably weren't in a position to walk.
Fuck you guys, I'm walking home.
fucking walking up.
Yeah, but could you even drink there though? Like, what were you able to even like get in lines for food and stuff and everything?
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. Depending on which one. I mean,
Because usually, if getting in is a shit show, usually getting
Anything
food
else?
and
Yeah,
drinks
merch.
and bathroom is usually the problem.
oh, it was such a project to get into it. I mean, granted, we got a late start because of our Friday night escapades. So we're behind the 8 ball right off the get-go. So we didn't get a chance to eat or anything. So here I am baking in this sun. I'm like massively hungover.
Sweating that alcohol right on.
The sun is just like, I'm like, and it's just like people. Because everybody knows me. I'm not really, and there's a wide range. You had people that were like 70 years old down to like 4 or 5 year olds.
Really?
Which I thought was weird. I'm like, why you can't find
You
somebody
bring
to watch your
kid
kids?
to that.
Yeah. No, at least they had ear protection.
Oh, good.
I mean,
That's good.
but just, I wouldn't want my little kid around fucking weirdos like me.
All right, band-wise, how
Yeah, highlights, lowlights.
Oh my God. Low life.
Well, BC's looking that up. Let me tell you about his shit show on Friday. I was going to a baseball game Friday night. 5:31. I just looked up on my phone. 5:31. He calls me, fucking hammered. We're drinking, all crazy. And then he puts Grants on the phone. Then Grant's like, "What are you bothering us for?" I'm like, "He fucking called me." Total shit show. So that was like 5:30 at night. So
We did it till 3:30.
so they had 10 more hours of drinking.
Well, I got my call at 8:19.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
I was a little bit later.
Oh, That was about 6 beers later, maybe or more.
No.
But that was the beginning of BC shit show. So go ahead, BC.
All right, so where are we here? Saturday. So Saturday, by the time we got in, I mean, I heard Trapped, I heard Everclear, Put on Mud. Put on Mud is bad, very bad. Me and Ray, Granson went to see the Struts, so he is.
Oh yeah.
Ray's like, where's he going? I said, just let him go.
You gotta
We'll be back.
Let him go. So we thought the Struts are on this one stage, so we're going by the stage Extreme was on. Extreme was almost a little slatter, like they were like turned up a little.
Oh really?
Too loud, huh?
Yeah, I was like, it was still good, don't get me wrong, but. So we go to reserve stage. It's not the stage where the Struts are playing. The Struts are playing like another 2 miles that way. I'm like, so
Walking through sand.
we got back. So we heard like the last half of the Struts. They were very good. I heard that Flyleaf good. And the next, I don't know what we did. I mean, didn't we? I guess it Saturday was a shit show. It was just all over the place. It was just not a good time. That day, I said, I don't even know I'm going to come back tomorrow.
Really?
I was not having fun. But then again, I was fucking major hungover. didn't eat or drink anything all day. I'm dying in this. It's just sun is
No
baking.
shade.
No
No
shade.
shade.
No shade anywhere in this fucking thing. Nowhere. The only shade is the beer and food tents, and they won't let you go underneath it.
You gotta keep the people serving your beer cool though.
I know, right? But
That's true.
we missed that Royal Lynn. They played. I don't know. That's some girl or something. I never heard of it. Kate Von D. We missed that. Thank God. I don't think that would be good. But Trap. We missed that. In between the stages, we could hear the Bush show. Bush.
Eh.
Yeah. We left before Death Leopard. Rob Zombie was great.
But
Oh, you
Rob
didn't see
Zombie-
Def Leppard at all.
Rob Zombie replaced.
Replaced Alice in Chains that replaced Motley Crue.
Yeah.
But yeah, because they're telling you you're not getting out of here for a good 3 hours if you stay to the end of it. Grant was like, I'm like,
Yeah.
I just want to go somewhere and get something to eat.
Like Uber surge pricing would be killer, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure.
We ended up, the only way we made it this early to the show is we grabbed Uber. It was $68.
Yeah.
For 8
And that's if
miles.
you can get one, because
Oh, it was and everything was so taxed. Like if you try to send a text, it was just
Well, you got 55,000 people
it
sending
was
texts
way
out
more
at the same
than
time.
55. Way more than 55. There's no
Trying to go live and everything, so the
yeah. So
friggin' cell service had to be just overloaded down there.
So Saturday was just, I don't know. So then we went back, got something to eat, had some beers, relaxed on the porch, went to sleep, got up nice early, walked on the beach, got ready, said, all right, we left a lot more earlier, we got some breakfast.
Now
Sunday,
we're learning.
Sunday we're much better Sunday, so we got on it, we got down there, we're like, woohoo, and then that's when they took my sunscreen, said, you can't, I said, I got it yesterday with it. Guy goes, you can't go on with it. He let me put some on it. That
was nice of him.
well, that'll last you for
That
the
lasts
first
me.
3 hours, and then
It might have lasted an hour.
yeah.
You hang on to that fucker. I'm coming back to reapply.
That's right.
But everything was this band thing, which you have to have the band, but you can either pay with the band or a card. Which don't get me wrong, that way you're not whipping the card out.
Yeah.
You just-
Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't bad.
How much were beers?
16 for
Were they at least tall boys?
24 ounce.
Okay. Well, that's
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
Alright.
That comes out to $8 for it.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Could be worse.
That's like 4 beers, right?
2.
12.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Ooh,
Great
slow
man.
down.
That's
Great.
like 12. That's like 12.
He's
right?
he likes drinking ponies. That's what
he
he's
was-
using the
He's
pony
used to
ounces.
the Mickey Big Mouth ponies.
He was doing the math like we were Friday night.
We'll play
Yes.
Sunday.
It's not my strong suit.
So Sunday we get there, we go in, Saliva, Tim Montana, again, another guy like that, Royal Lynn or whatever. He kind of
Is that country?
it sounds country, but he was kind of southernish. He did some Skinner covers and shit. Fuel were good. Saliva, I didn't see them. Lit, heard them. Black, to me, the standout, Blackstone Cherry, Sunday. I knew they were gonna be good, but they came out. I was like,
They're great.
Yeah.
the drummer is an animal. He was the ride cymbal went flying. How does a ride cymbal go flying?
You hit it so much the wing nut gets loose.
Well, he went.
People like throwing frisbees on the beach.
Oh, he used the drum tech. He broke the snare head.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys like. And
Busiest drum tech of the festival.
He earned his money that day. Crossfade. I'm not really familiar with them.
I think my band opened for them.
Crossfade?
Yeah, they played it in Rigby's, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did it?
I think
Yeah,
so.
we've seen them before. They were okay then.
You got Candlebox. Alice Cooper's Alice Cooper. Night Ranger sounded great, but just the
Same stuff.
Yeah, the covers are. We know Brad was with Ozzy.
Would I have enjoyed Night Ranger?
No, because they did the Ozzy. They did do the Alice Cooper because Alice Cooper was coming on right after them across the parking lot.
Good thing, or you would have got it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we probably would have got that.
Kelly came out from behind the drums.
They
twice.
did that drum thing, which
It was cool the first couple times.
Yeah,
Now they just need to.
it's getting old. He puts the mask on. Play a song. Play a fucking song. 3 Dame Yankee songs instead of 5, so that was. I mean, they sounded good, but like
I want
especially
to see
the
Night Ranger play Night Ranger.
Yeah.
You guys have more than enough material. 3 Days Grace has the original guy back with them.
Oh, do they? Okay. He was sick
I
or
like-
something, right?
I don't know. I think he just left.
Yeah, I think
Vocalist.
it was just. I think he just
Oh.
just parted ways.
Alice
for a
Cooper
bit.
is Alice Cooper. Brett Michaels. I
Was it all Poison?
was supposed to be a poison. Eddie Trunk comes out. All right, you're gonna have Brett Michaels, Mr. Rock and Roll coming out here doing nothing but Poison. We're like, okay, whatever. Yeah.
Open up with Word American Band or what?
So pull it out.
No, that's Rob Zombie.
So Brett Michaels comes out and what they open up with I can't remember now. Anyway, Poison's on. They open up with.
People would talk dirty to me.
Everybody here ready for having a rock and roll party time? We're going to do nothing but Poison. Brett Michaels is saying this. I'm like, okay, Eddie Trunk said it. You're saying it. We're going almost the same as what they did when they did the stadium tour. Poison.
Right.
So I'm thinking, okay, Poison.
I'm looking at the set list. I'm very excited.
And then all of a sudden, you guess covers, right?
Yeah, so they did Talk Dirty to Me,
Yeah,
Ride the Wind. Then they go to Sweet Home Alabama with Night
Which-
Ranger, Lit, and Fuel.
They bring all these guys up. Oh, I want all my friends up here to sing with me. I'm like,
That's not
So
Poison.
the third song in, they go to Leonard Skinner. Then they do Your Mama Don't Dance.
which technically is a cover.
Technically,
they
Poison
did it,
did.
but
It's not a Poison album,
not
but
a-
it's a cover. It's still a cover.
It's not a Poison song.
Then they did Something to Believe In, which is a Poison song.
Slowing shit down.
Dedicated to the veterans and to Brad Arnold of Three Doors Down.
They brought up all veterans and shit on stage. That was cool.
That is cool. I have no
said,
problem.
Let that one slide.
Yeah.
We'll let that one slide. 'Cause
They
that was-
did Unskinny Bop with Give It Away by the Red Hot Chili Peppers as an intro.
Oh yeah, that one, I'm like,
Then they did What I Got by Sublime, which was a song that my band covered.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like that song, but I don't want to see the fucking Brett Michaels doing it.
yeah, I'm thinking, I'm going to Grins.
That was always a Blue London staple too.
I said, what happened to? What
I can see BC screaming, "That's not a fucking Poison song!
Get the fuck out the store. Play the hits. Play your hits.
I would have been
Fucking
happy if they
Poison
played
hits.
Poison hits. It would have been Poison.
Yeah, 1/3 of the set is not Poison.
Yeah, we're gonna have a night of all Poison songs.
It's like Night Ranger on Monsters of Rock Cruise. Fuck the set list. We're just gonna wing it tonight.
Yeah. Bullshit.
And then they ended with Every Rose Has a Thorn, Nothing But a Good Time.
Yeah. And the band, I think the vocals were piped in. The background vocals were piped in.
You think?
Yeah, because and the guy goes in the vocals. I got talking to Mike.
Yeah.
But
Echo.
it was all a different band too from what he normally. That one guy is still with them. That guy was on a cruise that did the stuff with Fast and Pussycat.
Did he say one guy picked up that
Oh, I know. I can't think of the name, but I know who you mean.
Yeah,
It was Stewart and whatever.
Yeah, he's goofy. I think.
He was the guy that was in Family Feud with Sonny. He was the leader of Sonny's
Yes.
Family Feud thing.
Okay,
Yeah, that
Okay,
guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
that guy. He was the one who. Same guy. Yeah.
And Poison's going to tour next year. Ricky Rocket said, "I'm drunk."
Now he's saying it if Brett Michaels says. Brett Michaels says to agree to it. He's the only one that did say he would do it.
Well,
Trust me, if the money's there, they'll do it.
oh fuck yeah, yeah.
But Sunday was going good. It was there was a little breeze Sunday. The sun was still up, but there was some kind of breeze, which helped. We drank some beers, which helped with the people thing. Got a few good people. I mean, it's just still a lot of people.
I didn't say that was the. I looked at pictures. I'm like, holy
A
shit!
lot of people.
I figured it'd be crowded, but I didn't think there'd be like almost
everybody's there for
60,000
Nickelback.
fucking people there. Huh?
Everybody's there for Nickelback.
On Nickelback playing?
They headlined Sunday night.
Oh, wasn't Bret Michaels?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nickelback and Shinedown.
Nickelback was because the Thunder stage is huge. That was like stadium huge. Then the other ones were
Like M3 size, maybe.
M3 montage type
Yeah.
sizes. But two of them were you had one here, then one over here. But then the other one was like,
Way down.
and you had to track through the sand, so it was like. But overall, good. Just the getting around was tough. You got that many people. Everything got taxed. Uber, Lyft, the buses. They run to 2 a.m., but they brought all these school buses in at the end of the day trying. I mean, it's just
Shit show.
and people. It still took 2 hours to get out of the thing.
Damn.
All right, let's go.
I haven't been like that in
Yeah, I was gonna go,
quite some time.
but I just had something. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna sit this one out and see how it goes.
But this people do it. These other two, and the country one's 3 days, I guess.
Fuck that.
So they shouldn't have what
shit
works and what
together.
don't work.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the first ones are always the tough ones. Whether it be a festival or like first night of a tour or whatever, which we don't want to talk about after the thing, what we talked about last night. So, all right, that's cool though. I mean, I'm glad you went. I'm glad we got a good report there. And
It was fun.
so, who do you think was the best besides Puddle of Mud?
Blackstone Cherry.
Blackstone Cherry? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
They were, because we saw them at that Berserkus last year, and they were really good. And that was the first time that I ever saw them. I thought they were really, really
I
good.
haven't seen them for years, but I said these guys are gonna be good. And then they came out. I'm like,
Cool,
The
because
drummers fucking
you
bring
were got close for those guys, because you sent me pictures when
wait.
Blackstone Cherry was playing.
that's what I said. I said these guys are gonna be good. So we're like, so we got up in there.
Good. All right, cool. Any other news, anybody, Dylan?
Well, Alice Cooper ate at a local restaurant before, or after, maybe after the show at.
I don't know.
Yeah, he ate at a restaurant in Scranton.
Yeah. I think it was actually the night before.
The
Yeah,
old
the night
Tinks, right?
before. It was.
The old Tinks on Linden.
Yeah,
It
it's
was like
the
519. Something 519.
Yeah, Atira 519.
Okay.
The
Yeah,
old
like
Tinks.
him and the whole
No,
band
thanks.
were there
That's cool.
for Cheryl's birthday.
He was at
that's cool.
He was at the Hilton Monday, so he's probably golfing.
Probably golf Glenmar.
Yeah. You guys didn't go, huh?
No, I didn't go. I was thinking about it yesterday afternoon, and I'm like, I just don't feel like going anywhere.
I'm
like,
I'm
fuck it.
Aliced out for
Yeah.
live. Like
Yeah.
I've seen him
I've
so
seen
many
him a bunch of
times.
times. You
Right.
saw
At
him
this
on the
point-
cruise last time and stuff. And actually, it was weird. It's been happening a lot around here. Artists playing close venues on the same night, because Pat Benatar played at
Yeah.
the Kirby Center last night too.
That's right.
So you had two, classic rock people playing within
Yeah, Wilkes.
6 miles of each other.
Literally both in
last
Wilkes-Barre.
night. Yeah. In the same town. And then
And
the
that
night-
happens again in October.
October, we're going to see Jeff Tate do Operation Mindcrime, and Ellie Guns and Tom Kiefer are playing at
Sherman.
the Sherman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sherman.
So craziness. All right. So before we get back into it, you got anything, BB?
I got nothing, buddy.
All right. What have you listening to, Dylan? What do you got going?
I checked out a new album from a band called Magnolia Park. The album cover kind of caught my eye. The album's called Vamp, and they're kind of a metalcore band, but really good. I really like the riffs in it, and the vocalist for the most part is clean. B. So
Ooh, okay.
I think you might like it. But that's the album cover that caught my eye. Really cool,
yeah.
kind of like
Oh, yeah.
vampire-esque thing. But I liked it. It was very good. So that's really what I was listening to. And I also was listening to a little bit of Load, since Metallica's going to be putting out the anniversary deluxe edition, like the 16 CD version of that where a bunch of live stuff is on it.
They know how to do a box set.
Yeah. They released a version of 2x4 already live. So,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's one.
But excited for that. So I was kind of getting amped up for that because those are two albums that have some really good stuff on there. People often overlook them because it was like them going a little more, like a little less thrash, or a little more kind of mainstream hard rock. But I still think they're great albums.
I enjoy them.
Yeah.
And they're not, and it's not. I don't think it's as bad of a situation of like Guns N' Roses' Use Your Illusions 1 and 2, because I think there's more good songs between both of the Metallica albums than both of the Guns N' Roses albums. What do you got, BB?
I've been really digging this band Goddard. I'm floating around different albums. These guys are, really, really good. They're in that vein of the stuff that I like, and sometimes they have a couple bit of like softer songs, then they get a little bit of heavier shredding songs. It's these guys are really good, and I'm all over the place with them, and it's just like a more of a mishmash of a scramble of all of their songs from different albums, so you can kind of tell which ones are kind of earlier because it seems like they're a little bit heavier compared to the newer album that they released this year is a little bit more
like melodic-y.
But yeah, the earlier stuff is a lot heavier.
I know that Steven and Sonny champion those guys on Grown Up Rock quite a bit.
Did he send you? He sent me a playlist.
Yeah, that's kind of where I got it a while
like
ago.
Spotify playlist.
It might have probably. He said check this.
Yeah,
out.
I think so. I don't.
Yeah, they're good. They're good.
I liked what I liked what I've heard from them, but it's another one of them that I just didn't get a chance to like dive deep into.
Yeah.
How about you, BC? What do you got going?
Yeah, other than the crazy weekend, the band Tease, they reissued their Tease album with some bonus stuff on it.
It's self-titled, right? Is it?
I think it is it. Off the top of my head. But checking that out last few days.
All right, and for me, I was this week I started doing. I haven't done this in a while. I did it with Maiden and Priest and Kiss. I did it with Rush. Checking out a band's catalog. So what I do is I'll get the whole discography, and I'm trying to do it with the only ones that I have all the vinyl. So I started Black Sabbath the other day. So I did. I started out with 13. Then I did the first album. Then I did Forbidden. And then Paranoid, and then Cross Purposes, and then I'm on Masters of Reality now for that. So I'm enjoying it. It's so weird going from, like
Old Ozzy to new.
Tony Martin Forbidden to Paranoid.
Yeah.
And then no, actually I got as far as Dehumanizer, Dio's first appearance, because that was in between Forbidden and. Cross Purposes, I think it's somewhere in there somewhere, but it's cool. I remember BB picked Dehumanizer for I don't know, it might have been a comeback album or something episode we did a couple of years ago, and that was the first time that I listened to it since then. I'm like, holy shit, I forgot how good this is, because like you hear like and some of the like After All the Dead and all that, you hear that like on the live stuff that they did when they did Heaven and Hell. But like you don't like the deeper tracks, you don't really get to listen to much. So I was enjoying that. And today I was at work. I had a shuffle play going on, and it's like a playlist of like 73 hours worth of music. So and it's weird. There's like 73 hours of music on this. So if I hit shuffle play, on my way to work, Iron Maiden, Klansman came on from Rock in Rio, and then so I go into Sheets. I get my stuff in the morning. I go back to work. As soon as I start doing my stuff, Blood Brothers comes on. So I'm like, fuck it, I might as well just listen. So I threw on Rock in Rio, listened to the whole of that today, and then I was just listening to a little bit of the Beast Over Hammersmith show, too, from 82 with Bruce. So that's what we got going. Some Sabbath and Maiden for myself, some Tease for BC, some Goddard for BB, and Magnolia Park Vamped, and Metallica Load for Dylan. And with that, I'm just going to say that myself, I could probably speak for the Killer Bees here, that we have no idea what this episode is going to be. We had to do some picks that Dylan set forth for us, and he's going to let us know now. So it's all yours, Dylan.
Yes. So I was tasked with coming up with an idea for this episode, and I thought, why not cause a little chaos, a little debate, a little discussion? And what I did was I gave everybody a list of 4 different groups of musicians. A group of singers, a group of drummers, a group of bassists, and a group of guitarists. And I had each person rank them, from 10 to 1. And basically what I'm doing is we're going to go through, we're going to see how everything averaged out, who ended up being the worst, who ended up being the best. And I thought it would be fun for us after we finish all the rankings to kind of imagine what a band of the top people and the bottom people would be like. Come up with maybe a name, like what kind of music you think that they would play, things like that. So I'm going to ask BC. BC, which group of musicians do we want to start with?
Let's get the drummers out of the way.
That's what I thought you were going to say. Okay. So my method for picking these musicians was kind of just top of the dome. Who comes to mind first? If there were some that were like too similar or like in the same band, I kind of took them out. But for the most part, I was like, drummers we've talked about quite a bit on the podcast that everybody knows and loves and things like that. So I'll go alphabetically by first name because for some reason my Google Sheets order them by first name and not last name. Does not follow that. So the musicians for the drummers are Alex Van Halen, Eric Singer, Lars Ulrich, Mick Brown, Mike Portnoy, Neil Peart, Nico McBrain, Scott Travis, Tommy Lee, and Vinny Appice.
Well, I got to tell you, that's not the right order because Mick Brown should be last because it should be Wild Mick Brown.
Oh, that's right. Wild Mick Brown. Yep. Okay. Well, I apologize. I did not put Wild Mick Brown on there. The Wild is silent. So what I've done is, I asked everybody for their ranking. I basically averaged out the rankings, and we get like an average number for each person. The higher the number is, like, the higher up on the list you're going to be. So whoever has the lowest number, golf rules, is number 1. We did have some ties because of how they averaged out. I will say right off the bat, during this entire ranking, there was only, I believe, one musician that everybody agreed on a ranking for. So the numbers are all over the place. There's a lot of outliers from certain people, and I can kind of go through that as we go. But we'll start with number 10, with a ranking of 8 overall. The last place drummer was Eric Singer. So BC had
already.
BC, you ranked him number 10. You're the reason why he's so low. Eric Singer.
No, I have number 5.
I ranked him 10.
Oh, that's BB. Oh, okay. I must have messed those up. Okay, BB.
Yeah,
you ranked
BB,
him.
what the fuck?
You ranked him.
You look at these drummers. Look at them.
You ranked Tommy Lee over him? Come on.
Are you ready?
I think.
Are you ready?
We're
get it
only
out.
on the first one already. We're already disagreeing.
I don't think we're going to be doing any hidden gems today.
You just look at these guys, and all 9 of them are 1,000 times better than him. These guys, half of these guys are fucking legends. Just because Eric's been,
You have the same list?
yeah, mine's just a little bit smaller print.
I can't see it.
Dad, you had him ranked number 7.
Yes.
So you were probably the second highest behind BC at number 5. Me and BB did have him at number 10. So, it's tough. Though.
He's there for me for the versatility.
Yeah.
And he lost points because he dumbed it down for the last fucking 15 years.
Yeah.
But it's a job.
It's a job.
But he has that potential.
Oh, wait.
And he can play the harmonica, too. Come on.
He could be free right now.
Okay, so number 9. With a score of 7.75, so not too far behind Eric Singer, Lars Ulrich from Metallica. Both BB and my dad ranked him the lowest at number 9. What were your problems with that?
Napster Killer.
So not with his...
I think the drummers for me were the hardest. So I kind of almost went like, how much out of all these guys, I can't like. Did I listen to them a lot? Like now, growing up, what did they bring to the band? I think just Lars in general. I was just never a fan of him, and I just, the only thing he ever did was kill Napster. But other than that, I just, I just think he's just a figurehead behind the drums.
Okay, Dad.
I don't know. I kind of gauge them of having seen these guys live a little bit, and there's no one out here that I dislike. There's no one here that I dislike. I mean, they had to fall somewhere, and I think Lars is the only one that I've only seen once. So I think that's kind of a factor that he ended up down where he was. But like I said, I don't hate any of them.
Okay.
Although my number 10, I've seen him a lot more than that.
Okay. Let's go to number 8 with a score of 7.5. So we're still relatively pretty close here. It's Tommy Lee from Motley Crue. So this one had the biggest disparity of points. You ranked him dead last, Dad, and BB ranked him number 2. So what's going on there? Completely off the different on the two of you.
Well, for Tommy Lee, for me, I kind of ranked him different. Great drummer. I've seen him a bunch of times. He's a great drummer to watch. I just think he's not a good person. That factored in.
I'm really surprised that was your takeaway on that.
I know, and I don't usually go by that, but out of all the people on here,
that's how my factor went in.
Although I will say he has the most creative drum solos out of all of them.
He had the drum roller coaster.
He had the coaster,
and that is why he's number 2 for me.
And the spin box.
Not only growing up, listening to Shout at the Devil, but like Dylan said, this guy fucking drums on a roller coaster. Nobody else on that fucking list does anything close to that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, BC, you and I had him at number 9. So you're in the same kind of boat as me and Steve.
Yeah, I guess I'm going by their playing ability, what they brought to the projects they've been in.
She's your mom.
Yeah,
Brandon killed him.
Brandon, I love you. Yeah, and then I don't know what they are as a person. I don't know. Faintly in the background, but I'm not saying there's anybody that's terrible, but
no, I like all these guys.
In the last few years, Tommy's dropped out. He's a solid drummer,
especially since the fake tracks with them guys. Like the drums are started, he's not even behind a fucking kit.
Yeah. Well, he was number 8, so we got our first tie. We tied for 6 at 6.25. We have Alex Van Halen. We'll just start with Alex Van Halen. You and BB seem to be simpatico here a lot of the times. You both ranked him number 4. BC ranked him dead last. Why'd you rank him last, BC?
I hate that one. I hate it. No, I don't know. Looking back throughout the years, it's like you never once go, man, fucking Alex killed it on this. Not saying that he doesn't play good. I'm not saying that. But it wasn't like, oh man, Alex, you hear Alex fucking playing that thing? Holy shit. You know what I mean? He's not. Plus, he's very quiet behind the drums, I think. So a lot of I took that into factor.
Come on, he played half his career with a fucking neck brace. Come on, give him a break.
No breaks. No breaks.
You already had one.
No breaks in ranking.
BB, a rebuttal?
Yeah, it's Alex Van Halen. Come on. Your ears didn't perk up the first time you heard that opening drum for Hot for Teacher. Come on now.
Oh, yeah, but throughout the years, he's very...
Yeah, I'm closer to BC, but the Hot for Teacher made me put him like at 7. He wasn't, all the way up, but I don't think he, like he's kind of not a wallflower, but pretty laid back. And when I think of a drummer, I think of like a drummer. What do you think, Dad?
I have him there because of his consistency. Mm-hmm. You listen to Van Halen 3 or Van Halen 2 or Different Kind of Truth. It's the that's Alex Van Halen, the distinctiveness. So, and plus, I love to hear about it later video where he lights the gong on fire and smashes the fuck out of it on the Fair Warning tour. And I kind of have him there too because of his non-flamboyancy, his steadiness, his like him and Michael Anthony. They were the pocket of that band, and they were kind of the background guys, but held down the ship. And he's there for consistency.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Speaking of consistency, we got Wild McBrown tied with Alex Van Halen at 6.25. You and me, Dad, we had him at 8, the lowest. I think it's just because, like, he's good, but, like, I think everybody else is better, was my opinion.
Yeah, he's... I mean, look who he's against. And I'll tell you what, I liked him better when he was in Ted Nugent than when he was in Dokken. When he was playing for Ted, it was fucking awesome seeing him play them songs.
And BB, had him at number 3.
I had him at number 3 just for his background vocals. Like, he's a great drummer. And like I said, some of this was music I listened to. I love Dokken. Love listening to those albums through the 80s. And just as him and Philipson just killed it on background vocals. And I think, something like that is never brought out, front of a drummer, because it's usually, not a lot of drummers do background vocals,
Sure.
But, I think that's why he was so high, because of the ability to be a great background vocalist.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, we're in the top 5 now.
And plus, he had a lead vocal on Dokken album, "Crazy Mary Goes Round."
That's true.
Yeah.
It is good.
That's good.
Now, Mary.
I forgot.
Fucking awesome.
Mary goes round and round.
Okay, number 5, with a rating of 6, we got Vinny Appice of many, many bands. We were all pretty close on this. The highest was 7, BC, and the lowest was 5, BB. So we're all pretty much in the pocket there. Yeah, I think he's a really good kind of middle drummer. He had some awesome stuff, and I think he's good. BC, what do you got?
Very distinctive. I mean,
yeah.
He has such a distinctive style.
He does. He's
you know it, like you said, you know it's him.
He's very offbeat.
Yes.
Like on a lot of not a typical what you would think a song would be, because when we interviewed him and Carmine on this show, he had said that when they did Holy Diver, Ronnie said, because a lot of bands, from what I understand, singers are like, I don't want a drum fill behind me singing. It's for in between whatever. But he said, Ronnie said, do what you think is right in these songs. So listen to Holy Diver and listen to some of them drum fills while Ronnie's singing. Yeah. And I never thought of that. But he's very distinctive. There's some songs and the beat's just odd. I like that. I would be.
It's not what you think it is.
He's even hard to fucking air drum.
Yeah.
On some parts.
And I've never heard like a drum production like the one on Holy Diver. Like the snare hits are so unique, but they work for the. It's not Saint Anger unique. It's like a good.
Thank God.
Unique for the song. Okay, number 4 with 4.75. We're going to The Beast That Is the Priest for Scott Travis. Again, we had a pretty even spread for the most part. Me and BC had him at number 4, but then we had the 2 outliers. Steve had him at number 3. BB had him at number 8.
BB.
What'd you put him at number 8 for, BB?
I think it's just the factor of the listening to these guys. Priest was not really that much in the rotation, like younger. Like now is a little bit different, but sometimes like you see that name, it doesn't stand out like all these other names for sure. At least in my book.
Well, and he didn't really come on the Priest scene until 1990 either.
But when he did,
I thought he breathed life into the band.
New life into it.
And like I don't mind or hate Dave Holland's stuff. I thought I just got that Priest 82 live on Record Store Day. I like his live drumming. It's very watch him on like the Us Festival show. Really good, really solid. But Scott Travis, he brought that double bass. I wish they would friggin' re-record Ram It Down with Scott Travis on drums, not the fucking drum machines that they have on there. I mean, Scott's ambidextrous, so like when he plays, he's like he has hi-hats on both sides. Yeah. And he has the drum kit set up like a right-hander, but he can play ambidextrous. And I think he just brought a new life into the band. The only thing that I don't like is they let him fucking speak during the shows.
Oh, God forbid.
Sit down. Shut up.
That's
and
right.
drum.
At least he doesn't get up and walk around with the fucking microphone.
But back in the day, I listened to him when he was with the Racer X.
Racer X. See, I never knew those guys.
That was good shit. He was fucking...
Paul Gilbert too, right?
Yes, Paul Gilbert.
Yeah, Paul Gilbert. Fight.
Plus
Fight,
his
that's right.
plus his desire. He literally set up his drum kit in the fucking parking lot in Atlanta with the hopes that they would see him from their tour bus.
The hustle. There we go. Okay, number 3 with a ranking of 3.75. Another drummer whose introduction to the main band that he's known for was kind of a drum fill. Nico McBrain from Iron Maiden at number 3. Again, BB's the outlier with 7.
Just the way he fell. I can't help it. I can't.
Someone's got to be 7, right?
I can't
BB?
help the numbers. You can't help the numbers. That's why I was in this. I was there to fudge the numbers a little bit.
Yeah, if I look at the most coloring is on your row here. Dad, you had him at number 2, which doesn't
I did
surprise me.
And like, not to the same extent of Priest, but like he brought a totally different feel to Maiden, I thought. But I love Clive Burr stuff because I was just listening to the Beast Over Hammersmith today, and his drumming is great. Totally different. I thought Nico brought a totally different feel to the band. And honestly, nothing against Clive Burr. Like I said, I love his stuff, but like he seemed like a cool. His coolness and sense of humor factored in for me too, because he seemed like he'd be a cool dude to have a drink with and shoot the shit with. And you know, anytime you see any kind of videos for him or hear an interview, he's always upbeat. He's always funny. He's always on.
Yeah.
So that factored in there for me too. And do it, BC.
But he is the fastest foot there is
Yeah.
for a single bass pedal.
Out of all the Iron Maiden tracks, there's only one song that he used a double bass pedal on, "Face in the Sand."
The only reason I put him number 3 was because he wrote Wildest Dreams. Or sorry, New Frontier.
That sounds awesome.
But BC, you were with me on as at number 3 for.
I mean, Nico, come on. I agree with your dad. I think he would be cool to hang out with.
Yeah.
Have some ribs.
The ribs were good.
They were good.
Food at his restaurant was fantastic. We had a great meal there with great people.
Okay, we're down to number 2 with a score of 3.5. Mike Portnoy.
Ooh.
So, again,
God damn it!
Again, the highest ranking here with 6. Why 6?
It's the way he fell. Like, I'm not a big Dream Theater guy. You know, the Winery Dogs. Like, other than that, like, I can't think of any of the bands that he was.
Avenged Sevenfold, Adrenaline Mob.
Got nothing on them.
I had him at 5.
Okay.
You did have
I
him
guess
at
I don't
5, yeah.
feel so bad. But yeah, that's one of those. That's where he fell.
Yeah.
Have I don't know.
BC had him at number 1.
Shocking.
Fucking
Go ahead, BC.
He's fucking sick. Watch that guy fucking play. He can play he can crush drums on a Hello Kitty kit.
I did see that. That's pretty cool.
It fucking. I mean,
So let me guess. I hope when we get to a certain guitarist, because he played on a Hello Kitty guitar, he better be number 1. We're gonna fight.
that guy.
Yeah, we'll have to find out.
Be prepared to be very disappointed, BB.
I asked Dylan to take him off this.
I had him at number 2, BC. So I was with you. It's his versatility for me. Like,
Now looking at my rankings, I could have had him at 6 as well.
interesting. So,
But
not only do you disagree with us, but you wish he was higher.
But that's because of my lack of total familiarity with Dream Theater. I like it, but I've said it a million times. I don't need to get that in a discussion again. He's fantastic because
he has a distinctiveness too.
He does too.
Because when Mike left and
Mike Mangini,
The other Mike
original Mike came
Mike.
back, I mean,
yeah.
There is just a.
He has the feel for
Yeah,
I totally agree with that.
feel.
But I think it's just because of like I'm not like a huge Dream Theater guy. I think he's great. Like when we went to see Winery Dogs is one of the toughest concerts to watch
Because you don't know who to.
because you don't know who to fucking watch. Like if they'd all just bunch up at the goddamn drum riser, it would be good. Because you got Billy Sheehan, you got Richie Kotzno, and Mike Portnoy. But and the only and I should have flipped him and Vinny because of more familiarity with those guys.
Yeah.
But like I said, there's none of these guys that I hate here at all. You know. But I mean, he didn't pick any bad drummers.
Yeah. I tried not to.
One bad person, but
Yeah. Well, number one was not a surprise to me. This is the highest score that anybody got in the entire ranking at 1.25. It's Neil Peart from Rush. Everybody ranked him number one except for BC, who ranked him number two, which is fine. But like,
no, it's not.
It's Neil Peart. It's Neil Peart.
There you go.
Like, come on.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is too, even just drumming ability aside, from their second album, he wrote the lyrics to all them fucking songs.
Yeah. And one thing I really like about Neil Peart is he relearned things. Like
he broke his style right down.
Later in the career, like he was like, I have things that I can still like do better. And like the fact that he took that and ran with it, like had the more kind of like jazzy, blues, drumming with that one instructor, like that he was humble enough to do that. Really impressed me. BB, I know you're not a Rush fan, but even you had to.
Hey, you got to give the props. This isn't a popularity contest. You gotta give the legend, his due. And I'm still in awe that you think Portnoy's a better drummer than Neil Peart. But that's all right. Hey, you have your opinion. Now, did you pick this list today with your sun poisoning? Maybe just.
You picked it on his birthday when it was even worse. BC, obviously, you're a big Neil Peart fan.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, again, how can you rank these people? They're all good drummers when it comes to drum. Neil is crazy in his own aspect. I mean, maybe because I grew up more with Mike Portnoy. That's why the only reason, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe because I just spitballing. Maybe because you were more on the ground floor.
Yeah.
With Mike Portnoy than Neil Peart.
It's a good point.
Neil Peart
Thank God no one said Neil Peart. That fucking annoys the fuck out of me.
I
Which means now that Sonny Pooney will say Peart every fucking time. But
I did mess up the Vinny's last name because the two of them pronounce it differently, and it throws me off. I said a piece at first, but it's Appice, right?
Okay.
Is how he likes to pronounce it.
Yeah.
But
apparently it's really Appice.
Appice.
Appreciate.
I swear I heard Gio pronounce it Appice the one
Play
time.
some appreciate.
Okay.
Appreciate.
It's like fine wine.
BB, what musicians would you like to go to next?
Let's do the bassists.
Okay, let's
Get
go
the bottom end out of the way.
for bass. Okay, so the bassists that we're going to be talking about are Billy Sheehan, Geddy Lee, Geezer Butler, Gene Simmons, Ian Hill, Jason Newsted, Lemmy Kilmister, Michael Anthony, Nikki Sixx, and Steve Harris. This one had the most ties, so there was a very contentious list.
We know it will agree on number 10. Come on.
You would think.
Really? My God.
Number 10 with a score of 8.75, not even the lowest of like all of the thing, which blew my mind. Nikki Sixx. I had him at 10. Dad had him at 10. BC had him at 10. BB had him at number 5.
5.
What the fuck? Are you doing drugs?
Why? Because he's a bad person?
No,
he
he's
sucks. He's a bad bassist.
He's a bad bassist.
I can't think of one bass line
We're
from
opening
Motley
that
Crue.
rehab again, BC.
He needs it.
Boy, oh boy.
What do you like about Nikki Sixx, BB?
It's one of those things, once again, of how much I listened to Motley Crue back in the day. It's not like he's, I don't know. I think some of these other guys I'm not big fans of, and that's where it fell, because the other ones behind them I'm not fans of. I don't know.
All right. You pick what you pick.
Dad, why'd you put him at number 10?
Because he's got. If you're in a band, a major band or whatever, and you're going to do vocal tracks, whatever. But if you're in a band and you have fucking bass tracks and you're not really playing bass on stage, that's a massive red flag. But like, there's no. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody say, "Holy shit, do you hear that fucking bass line during the solo of whatever?" No. You don't. He's not in that conversation.
Yeah.
He is so far from that fucking conversation. Plus, he's a douche. That didn't help either. I mean, he's okay. I do like the bass in 10 Seconds of Love. That is cool. And Primal Scream is cool too.
But that's a pretty simple.
No, I know. I just, compared to the rest of the guys on this.
Yeah.
I've never. I mean, hey. If you stack him up against some of these guys songwriting wise, he'd kick their ass.
That is true. That is true. Okay, number 9 with a score of 8. Do the motion with me, everybody. Ian Hill from Judas Priest. This one, everybody was pretty much around the same thing. I ranked him the lowest at number 9, but BC and Dad had him at 8, and BB, you had him at 7. So around the same thing. Anybody have anything to say about Ian Hill?
Yeah, you know what? I should have had him down at number 9, actually, because I look at my number 9 and I'm like, what was I even fucking thinking? So when we talk about this person, when you say where I put him, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's totally wrong. But Ian Hill, he didn't bring anything to the table. Yeah. Live, he just stands in the back. He's solid. He's solid. I think he maybe has 1 or 2 songwriting credits on like maybe the first 2 albums. Nothing. And it's funny too, because after KK Downing was out of the band, and then like Ian Hill finally, after 40 years of Priest, got a voice, and like KK Downing was like, he didn't have anything to say for 40 years. Now he has shit to comment on. But solid, definitely solid. But there's no crazy. Like, even just like
it's meat and potatoes.
I love bites. Bong.
Yeah.
Bong. Bong. You know, like there's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not a. I think he would easily be the easiest replaceable guy in Judas Priest.
Yep.
I would miss him in the back doing his thing. You know.
That's good cardio.
BB, what do you have to say?
Yeah, I had him at 7. He's down in the lower half. It's just one of those, and then I look at something, I'm like, boy, yeah, I think that's a good spot for him. There's some legends on this list, but I think once again, it just kind of where it lies into what you like to listen to.
Yeah, very fair. Okay, number 8 with a score of 7.25, Jason Newsted, formerly of Metallica, also fought some Jetsam, Newsted, Echo Brain. BB ranked him dead last, number 10. BC ranked him number 5. BC, why number 5?
Oh my god. I mean, bands he's been to, I listen to everything he's listened to throughout the years. I love his Newsted stuff. But when he came into Metallica, I mean, he had big shoes to fill there. And
they wouldn't let him fill it for an album, at least.
Yeah, and they treated him like shit there in the beginning.
He was always the new guy. Always the new guy.
And I watched interviews with him, just the way his thought process on a lot of things, I think, just... He's up there in my book.
Yeah. BB?
Yeah, I think I'm going to come back out and say what I said before. This list is full of legends. There's 9 legends on this list. Jason Newsted is not in that sentence of legends.
Okay. Yeah, I put him number 8. Like, the bass parts that I like from him, I really like My Friend of Misery, King Nothing. But like, he wasn't allowed to shine for a whole album. Like, you could not hear his contributions at all. And he kind of was in for like Metallica's highest moments, and then was also there for like the lowest moment, like right at the beginning. So, I think he deserves praise for kind of, being in that swirl, and I think he's the bassist that like physically looks like like fits with the rest of the band. But yeah, I agree with BB where it's I think there were just like people that he stood on their shoulders, I'll say. Dad, anything on Jason Newsted?
I had him at 6, and I really like Jason Newsted in Metallica. I love that he thought it was total bullshit when they were doing all that therapy bullshit. He called them out on it. I fucking love that.
It's really fucking lame.
And I love his comment when people were up in arms because Metallica cut their hair. Oh, you sold out. He said, yes, we do. Every single night.
Yeah, great.
And I thought, out of all these guys here, he's one of the most dynamic bass players on stage.
Yeah.
I love doing
Motherfucker Die.
Motherfucker Die on
and he would do the last chorus too, right?
I know, yeah. I
for Creeping Death.
I think he got shafted, and I would a billion times rather see him on stage with Metallica than Robert Trujillo.
I like Robert Trujillo.
I like him, but I
Spider
like
Walk, baby.
I fucking hate that. I like Robert, but I love Jason on stage with Metallica. Yeah. I was sad when he was gone.
Okay, we got our first tie. Tie for 6. We'll start with so they both had a score of 6.5. We'll start with the one that I feel is going to be the most interesting to talk about. 2 people ranked this person at 4. 2 people ranked this person at 9. Geezer Butler of Black Sabbath. And I'm assuming this is the person...
This is the one I fucked up on. This is the one I fucked up on. Because now I started listening to Sabbath stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking about? That was a mistake. That was a mistake. He should be in the top 5 for me. He should. Because, I mean, listen to some of that stuff. Like, just listen to the fucking bass on, like, War Pigs.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
what the fuck? I mean, I that was my bad. I fucked that one up.
And NIB, like the intro to NIB, come on.
Oh, yeah.
BB, you agreed with me, number 4.
Yeah, he's been around forever. You could even put into that talking that people try to imitate his sound. Foundation of heavy metal, if you will. Just that deep, dark, spooky bass was amazing when it came out, and all through the 70s, and even today, even though he's getting up and old, he still can slap it around,
Yeah.
Well,
Dylan, were you with us when we saw Heaven and Hell?
No, I was not.
Okay.
I saw...
Remember we saw... BC and I went up to see Heaven and Hell. I could have sworn Dylan was with us.
No, I've never seen Dio.
So, I mean, it was awesome, but, like, when he did that, like, distorted wah pedal echoey kind of thing in Heaven and Hell, it was like... when they do Heaven and Hell and then they do Sign of the Southern Cross, when they kind of mix them together, it was just crazy sick. And I this is skewed because I fucked this one up.
And he's somebody that, like, his presence is very different than, like, his playing style. Because he's very, like, kind of stationary, very, like, holding down the fort, but, like, his playing, it's very John Entwistle-like.
And he wrote most of the lyrics of all those classic Black Sabbath songs.
Yeah. Yeah. BC, you had him at number 9.
Yeah, I'm with Steve there. I'm looking at this now. Okay. I would have had him at least maybe 2 more notches up.
Okay. Well, at least you can admit your mistakes. Tied with him with 6.5 is Lemmy from Motorhead. We were all pretty close on this one. BB had the highest at 8. Dad, you had 5 for Lemmy. I had 7, and BC, you had 6. What do we have to say about Lemmy?
I mean, that bass sound is just...
He was the bass and rhythm guitar.
He was...
Yeah, basically.
So much. I mean...
and vocals.
When you just see him just... that such distinctiveness. I mean... And he's iconic in a way. I mean, is he the greatest bass player? Probably not. No. But just that tone to me stands up.
I think what he lacks in like ability, he makes up for in power.
Yeah.
Yeah, another, later 70s bass player that everybody tried to imitate. And it's just one of those things, I think it's just a lack of me listening to Motorhead. That's why he is 8. Because I think, there's, some better guys on there.
Makes sense.
Yeah, for me, it's the cool factor got him up there for me.
Yeah.
Out of all these guys on here, he's probably top 3 that I would have wanted to sit down and have a beer with. He was a huge World War II collector, memorabilia collector. He just seemed like a really interesting guy, and I think he was way more intelligent than people gave him credit for.
Very well read.
Very well read. It would have been cool to just have a fucking beer with this. I would do a Lemmy with him. I don't drink that, but I would fucking do that. And I'm a late blooming Motorhead fan. I kick myself in the ass regularly that I didn't. But I for some reason it didn't click until maybe 10 years ago. You know what I mean? But I was happy that I had at least got to see them 2 or 3 times. I think twice. But he was cool.
Well, speaking of cool,
The BB Lean. Yeah, that was the first BB Lean.
That's right.
Yeah. It wasn't during Motorhead, but it was the same show.
yeah. Speaking of cool, our number 5 is often called the coolest man ever. 5.25. It's Gene Simmons from Kiss.
Who would have called him the coolest man ever besides himself?
Well, I think BB would. BB put him number 1 with a bullet.
What?
Once again, it's like Tommy Lee. Like, nobody else here is spitting blood, flying, spitting fire, like he's putting on a show. I think he just that, the some of the crazy, dirty lyrics that he wrote back in the day, he's one. He's one in my book.
He obviously didn't come to the show with us 2 weeks ago.
I knew better.
Well,
I wanted to keep him at number 1. He would
have dropped with a bullet.
Yeah.
About a man-sized predicament. The rest of us were kind of in the same boat. You guys had him at 7, and I had him at 6. But
he's a very good bass player.
Yeah, I agree with what BB is saying. I think that outside of his bass playing, he had quite the presence on stage. Especially for somebody who doesn't talk on stage. Like
he needs the makeup, though. I've come to that conclusion after that show. He's not a front man.
Well,
Shecky Green up there, yucking it up. Shut the fuck up and play deep tracks.
Well, our tie for 3, one of them is a front man. They had a score of 3.75, and I'm going to say that this person that I'm going to be talking about was our big outlier, I would say, between 2 rankings. Geddy Lee is one of the number 3. I had him at number 2. BC had him at number 3. Dad, you had him as your favorite bassist. BB, you had him at number 9.
Hey, I had Neil number 1. I'm not putting Geddy all the way up there either.
We'll see how Alex fares at the guitarist.
Let me quickly look.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's Geddy Lee. I'm just not in the rush. I
get it, but I don't get it. Vocally, his early stuff really high. Like it does take some getting used to. Probably around Permanent Waves, it kind of leveled out, not as screechy. But I mean, watch Rush and Rio. Watch him fucking play bass and sing. And then watch him play keyboards and sing. And watch him play bass and play the keyboard pedals
sing, yeah.
with his fucking feet. Singing these crazy lyrics that Neil Peart wrote about every goddamn thing under the sun.
Yeah, some of those lyrics are pretty wordy.
Yeah, and later and I was kind of a late blooming Rush fan too. Like I even knew them, was aware of him, had moving pictures like everybody else. But like I think as I matured, or as much as I matured, I appreciate it more. Just the musicmanship of it, the and I'm the first to admit, like, I listen to Rush. I know very few Rush lyrics. There's snippets that I know. I know choruses, but I know little parts here and there. Like, Subdivisions is one of my favorite Rush songs. I know, like, maybe not even a third of the lyrics of that fucking song. But, like,
because you vocalize the instruments.
You know, yeah. But, like, just for his versatility, and watching those, like, last couple of tours, like R30 from there on, he looks like he's having a blast on stage. Some of the earlier shows, he seems a little more serious, but he seems to be more loose,
especially
in the latter years. Yeah,
I think Alex warmed him up because like their friendship is very playful. Yeah. I agree fully with what you said about all that. BC, anything?
I agree with Steve. I mean, I was later to the party with Rush, but we've seen him multiple times live. It just everything he does, and lyrically, like I said, and he's not singing about partying all night. You know what I mean? His lyrics are to play the bass and
about
I know
Rand's
the lyrics.
Anthem.
Yes, it's good.
And even some of the songs and the arrangements, even the early stuff. It's like I am total respect, total awe for anybody that can play music, get up in front of play it in front of people. But I mean, I reserve that especially for guys in bands like him, like Dream Theater, even some of the Queen's Reich stuff. Like there's some intricate stuff that these guys play, and to play that shit and to sing and do keyboard like at the same time, I'm in awe of that shit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say that the bassists are the only category that nobody agreed on a number one. Every other category, at least two people agreed. We're all over the place with bassists. The other number 3 on this list at 3.75, somebody that I think BB has a little more familiarity with, Michael Anthony. Both you and Steve, you had the highest number at 3, but me and BC were right around you. I had 5 and BC had 4. So we were all pretty positive about Michael Anthony. BB, what'd you think of the bourbon, the Jack Daniels bassist?
Oh yeah, he's just he's the background vocals of Van Halen. Everybody knows that, and he's a great guy to watch. And he's just always got the shaft from the brothers, and I don't think he got what he really deserves. And he's once again another one still out there playing today, slapping his Jack Daniels bass. So props to him for coming out and playing. He's probably close to 70-ish. So he's still doing it. Yeah.
Nice. Dad, BC.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Anthony, like you said, throughout the years, Van Halen being like the soulfulness of the background vocals. I love his stuff he's doing now with Sammy Hagar and all these bands. And I think he'd be a cool guy to hang out with.
Yeah, I have him up there for his unsung hero-ness.
Okay.
I think he was like BC said, or what do you guys said it? He's the background vocals of Van Halen. I don't give a shit what anybody says or whatever, but like listen to Van Halen. Just listen to Van Halen 1, and I talked about this a little bit when we did the Van Halen albums. That first Van Halen album, not as much on the second one. You don't get it as much on the other ones. Very few overdubs with guitars back. When Dave's not singing, it's a power trio. It's Eddie, it's Michael, and it's Alex. And listen to some of those bass lines in there. Some of them bass walks and shit that he does. Absolutely unsung hero. And I think some of that stuff is just amazing. And the sad thing is, the saddest thing is, So This Is Love. You get that cool ba-doo, ba-doo, ba-doo. And then they fucking turn it down. I'm like, dudes, what? The very first time I heard that, I'm like, why are they turning that down? Dude. I don't know.
Yeah, that is right.
So he was fucked from the fair warning.
Okay, number 2, with a ranking of 3. This was BC's number 1, Steve Harris from Iron Maiden. I had him at number 3. Dad, you had him at number 2. And BB had him at number 6. So, BC, Sing the praises of Steve Harris
Fucking Steve
before
Harris. Come
BB
on.
refutes you.
He's been here from the beginning. The most iconic band. One of the most iconic bands I know of. Very dear to my heart. Seen him live multiple times. Like, he likes to play sports, football in his country.
Yep.
But it's just playing style. He writes. I don't know. I think a bassist from one of the first people come to my mind is Steve Harris.
Yeah, I go back to when I saw them in 1983, and I saw them at the Allentown Fairgrounds. I distinctly, we were maybe 15 feet from the stage. We were up pretty close. And World Peace Tour, myself, Berto, Dugo, and Rob's brother-in-law, Paul, he took us down there. And I distinctly remember him up there, right? Still does it, foot on the monitor, doing the machine gun bass kind of thing, and singing every fucking lyric that Bruce was singing.
Yeah.
And at that point, he was the guy, pretty much, of writing for Iron Maiden. I know, Peace of Mind. I mean, they finally were able to involve Bruce and Adrian a little more. But like he was the guy then. He's the guy now. Some people don't like his newer stuff, the longer progressive stuff. I absolutely love it. I like a lot of that stuff. Some of it, like Senjutsu, it's like a top 5 Iron Maiden album for me. I love it. I listened to it last week. He's the man.
BB, number 6.
Yeah, it's just the way it fell. I saw him a bunch of times live. I love his. What's a Steel Lion?
British Lion.
British Lion. Like I love his stuff with that. It's just a, unfortunately he fell where he fell. Maybe I could have flipped him maybe one spot up to 5, but it just a factor of not.
There's a gun right over there, BC. you could
not playing the shit out of Iron Maiden compared to the rest of these guys.
Nikki 6, higher than Steve Harris.
Yes. 5 and 6.
I'm calling the police.
He even could have had the Nikki
Sting's
6
gonna
at
come
number
and get
6, but did not. Okay, and number 1 with the score of 2.25, Billy Sheehan.
Sheehan.
Sheehan? I thought it was Sheehan.
It's not Sheehan. It's Sheehan.
Sheehan. I apologize. Billy Sheehan. I am at number 1. I think he is the closest to a lead guitarist on this list. His bass lines are insane. I mean, the first time I heard "Still Ain't Enough for Me" from Mr. Big, and like the bass solo in the middle of that song, and it follows a really sick Paul Gilbert solo. So you can't slouch after that, and he does not. BB, I know you're a big Mr. Big fan. You ranked him number 2.
Yeah, I think he lies right there at number 2 in my mind perfectly. Stuff with Mr. Big and stuff with the Winery Dogs and stuff with David Lee Roth. He was all over the place and still is. Still making music with the Winery Dogs. Great bassist. I think sometimes he could. You think about how good he is. He's very underrated in a way. He's not like the big guy that stands out. He kind of sits back. He's very quiet. He lets the bass do the talking, lets the bass do the walking. But a great bassist in my book.
Yeah, BC, you also had him at number 2.
Yes, I mean, you just touched on it. When he does the bass line, it's like playing a lead guitar.
Yeah.
To me, that's always been. I'm like, every time you see it, crazy. And seeing him live is just like you said. Who do you watch when he plays in the Winery Dogs? I find myself watching him a lot.
I find that if you listen to David Lee Roth, Eat 'Em and Smile, and listen to a Mr. Big album, listen to Winery Dogs, it's the same sound.
Yeah.
He is that consistent bass sound. And I think there's times where he gets a little too crazy, but not often. Very few things I think are too over the top. But like I said, when we saw Winery Dogs, it's like, who do you watch? If you're a bass guy, you're gonna watch him. You're a guitar guy, you're gonna watch him. But for me, I don't do any of that shit, so I watch everybody. But super cool. I talked to him briefly at the one Rockin' Pod. He signed my Eat 'em and Smile album along with Greg Bissonette, and I think he complimented Steve Vai perfect on the David Lee Roth band. And I mean, it could still happen. They could still play. The whole band is still alive and playing. They can.
They don't even
that
need
can
Dave.
fucking happen. Yes, they do. Stop it. I had him at number 4, and I think he's definitely up there. I think he's cool.
Yeah. Okay, so that was bassists and drummers ranking. We are going to take a quick break, but our gem song for this evening is a song that was released off of the remastered deluxe box set of Load. It is a live version of 2x4 from live at the Astoria 2 in London, England on August 23rd, 1995. So here's Metallica with 2x4.
New one!
Okay, that was Metallica with a live version of 2x4 off of the upcoming deluxe box set release that I'm very excited about. So without further ado, let's get back into the episode. And Dad, I'll let you pick between the last two categories. Which one do you want to go with?
Okay, these could go either way, so I'm going to flip a coin.
Okay, yeah.
Tails are guitar players, heads are lead singers.
Okay. That was barely a flip.
That was a terrible flip. There we go.
It's gone.
Shit.
Fine.
All right, let me try this again standing
Do you
up.
know how to flip a coin?
That didn't flip either.
That's not...
There we go. So it is guitar players.
Okay,
Tails.
guitar players. Here we go.
10 minutes later.
I know.
So the guitarists that we're going to be talking about are Alex Lifeson from Rush, Angus Young from AC/DC, Eddie Van Halen, I don't know what band he's in, Joe Perry from Aerosmith, Kirk Hammett from Metallica, Mick Mars from Motley Crue, Nuno Betancourt from Extreme, Slash from Guns N' Roses and Slash, Yngwie Malmsteen from Alcatraz, as well as Yngwie's solo stuff, and Zakk Wylde from Black Label Society and Ozzy Osbourne. Okay, so let's get into these rankings. At number 10 is the lowest ranked person on this entire list. And it was the lowest ranked person because this was the only person that we all agreed on a ranking for them. At a ranking of 9, it's Joe Perry from Aerosmith. So we all agreed that he was the 9th ranked. I originally had him higher, but thinking about it, like, he's a fantastic guitarist, but like the rest, a lot of these other guitarists are like really, really, really good. So it just kind of like fell by the wayside. Anybody else? Joe Perry?
I had him at 9. Well, we all had him at 9, right?
Yeah.
And I love it. And actually, I did an episode on the Two Bobs cast I did classic Aerosmith. Well, we ranked all the Aerosmith albums, and it was great because I got to go back and listen to all those Aerosmith albums again. Not so great on some of them, but I think the only reason I have him this low is because him and my number 6 are kind of outliers, I think, because there's like some newer shredders and stuff that we're going to talk about, and but you know, I love Joe Perry. I love classic Aerosmith. I love the some of the more popular stuff. Last 2 albums, there's even some good songs spattered in here and there, but I mean, that's the only reason he ended up there for me. I mean, I love Joe Perry. I think he's fantastic. And he's going out on the road with Joe Perry Project now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like Joe Perry often overshadows Brad Whitford's contributions, and I think Brad Whitford is as good of a guitarist as Joe Perry, but like Joe is the one that's always talked about because of his like kind of duo with Steve Tyler kind of situation. BB, any thoughts on Joe Perry?
Yeah, you look at the list, and then like Joe Perry comes up. He's not like that shredder guy that was out doing a solo, making the crowd go crazy. I think that's a good definition of him, not like the showboat shredder, compared to a lot of these guys on the list. That's why he's kind of so low, maybe.
Mm-hmm. BC?
Yeah, I agree with what a lot of these guys are saying here, but this is the hardest list, I think, for me.
This is a tough one.
This was the toughest for me, but Joe Perry, like he's not flamboyant, he's not flashy, and he's playing wise, he just does it.
Yeah. I definitely, looking at the list, I definitely did him, and like you were saying, Dad, another guitarist a disservice because a lot of these guys are shredders, but Joe Perry is that kind of like classic rock and roll, really great guitarist, but like not doing the finger tapping stuff. Okay, number 9 with a score of 8. This is a person that I would have ranked lower, but he is good, so I couldn't rank him lower than I wanted to. It's Yngwie Malmsteen, and actually I was one of the people that ranked him the highest. You and me, Dad, had him at 7. BB had him at 8, and BC had him dead last at number 10. BC,
right.
What do you...
I mean, God love him. He's very talented, but like the last few years seeing him live, it's just you have talent, but everything was good.
Yeah.
And it was too much for me, and that pushed him down for me. He has great albums. He's back in the day. But recently, in the recent years, he just came out with the album now, another live album. So I'm like, oof, I'd be afraid to hear it. But
I didn't check it out yet.
Too much. Look at me. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I think he's the most full of himself
Yes.
on this
There you
list.
go.
Yes.
He's got more ego than all the other ones put together.
Yeah. Maybe not the singers, but close. BB, Dad, anything to say about Yngwie?
Yeah, nothing to take away from him, but he crazy shredder back in the day, like BC said. Maybe not so much now. Maybe more of annoying shredder because that's all he does. He'll play like 4 or 5 notes, and then he plays the same note for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It just gets aggravating. But not to disrespect anything. Back when he released in the '80s, because he was one of the top ones back then for sure.
It was melodic.
Yeah. Talented. He's number 7 on mine strictly for his first 5 albums.
Yeah.
After that, and then especially when he started doing all the vocals,
Started drinking his own Flavor Aid.
I can't. I just in the last 2 times I saw him, it was the Marshall Stacks 9/8 of the stage, and the keyboard player, the drummer, bass player tucked in a fucking utility closet on the side of the stage. It's too much. I don't know. He A, needs a singer. B, needs to do more songs with vocals, like more stuff from Trilogy, more stuff from Odyssey, more stuff from Fire and Ice, like stuff like that. But just the ego is just out of control.
Well, our number 8 does not have ego. With 7.75, we have Alex Lifeson from Rush. You and me, Dad, had him at 8 on the bullet, so we were dead on. BB had him at dead last, number 10. And BC had him at number 5.
In recent years, I've become to have more love for Alex Nelson, both as a player and person. That's why like I said, this list was the hardest for me to. It's like, this, but so it's very hard. But I think he's an underrated player. In the field of guitarists overall.
And BB, I know that you're not as familiar with Rush, so
right. And not to take away anything that he's done before, but Alex is a great guitar player. There's some stuff out there that, like the hits I know, but when I look at the list, I'm not going to Alex for a crazy guitar solo, and that's only like from the 80s growing up. That was when I hit that music scene, it was crazy shredders, and that's kind of on that list where he is, because he's almost like the Joe Perry, amazing rock guitarist, not the shredder that I like.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, he was probably the toughest one to classify for me. He has he's a great guitar player, great, and all those songs, him and Geddy wrote all those songs, musically. And he just kind of ended up there by default. There's just ones that that have more memorable solos for me, is what I'll probably end up going with.
Yeah, it's a rare band that the guitarist is like the least looked at member.
Yeah.
And I think that's the case with Rush.
Oh, yes.
Where like his work is just as good as Geddy and Neil's, but like Neil and Geddy are like out front. So makes sense. Speaking of often overlooked, our number 7 got a rating of 7.5, and I'll say that this is the only list that did not have any ties. So definitive 1 through 10. Number 7 is the incredible shrinking man, Mick Mars. Funnily enough, two of us ranked him dead last. Me and you, Dad. BC ranked him at number 4. So, Dad, why'd you rank him last?
Well, I ranked him last because someone had to be last. But I don't know. He just ended up there because I
Picked the last 5 out of a hat. And
I have Joe Perry had him because I overall I think I like more Aerosmith songs than Motley Crue. I have Alex Lifeson picked over that because of his songwriting talent. Mick Mars is not really a songwriter. He rips. He's great. I think he's absolutely fantastic. But he had to end up somewhere. And there's ones. I mean, although he does have more memorable solos for me than Alex Lifeson does, but I'm factoring in songwriting there too. Mm-hmm. So that's why he was bumped up.
I find it interesting that he, personality-wise, I think is the only one that does not fit in Motley Crue. I think the rest of them, it's a match made in hell. He's not a douche. But like Mick Mars is just like the too good for this world kind of thing. Yeah, I love his playing, but I think it's for the same reasons where he's just kind of like he shows up, he does his thing, and he kind of steps off. He's not like a driving member of
Step
the
off,
band.
Mick. Step off.
BB?
Yeah, I had him at 6, and you know the poor guy was screwed in Motley Crue, but you have to give him his props. There's some crazy shreds in a lot of the older, earlier Motley Crue stuff. I just think he doesn't. I don't think he gets enough credit.
They did fuck him pretty hard too.
Yeah, But you think back in the day, looking at Circus magazine, he was all over fucking Circus. I remember him like clear as day.
Yellow black guitar.
Yeah, like he was all over the place, and then
the Widowmaker.
Just to give him a shaft like that. But yeah, I think he there's some big names here.
And BC number 4.
I mean, come on, look at him. He held Motley Crue together forever. Got shit. He was very, like you said, he don't fit in that band. God love him, and he deal with all those guys for how many years? But
he deserves an award for that.
Just that alone. But I mean, listen to his playing. I mean, for and when you saw them live, for being a single guitar player band, I mean,
I just have him comparatively.
Yeah, it's very hard, but I love it.
This was tough.
It is solo. I love that solo.
Yeah, I'll say this was the only list that I felt bad about putting somebody last. Like everybody else, I'm like, that's fine.
That's all right.
Okay, number 6 with a ranking of 5.5. We're duck walking our way to Angus Young from AC/DC. I ranked him the highest along with BB at number 4. And Dad, you ranked him at number 6, and BC ranked him at number 8. So BC, what made you rank him at 8?
I don't know. He's not flamboyant. Mm-hmm. Technicality, he's not very. He's solid. He's very.
Meat and potatoes.
Meat and potatoes. Very nothing. No flash. You don't need to have the flash. He has the meat.
He's Arby's.
That's what she said.
He's Arby's. He got the meat. But no, I mean, like I said, this list was hard. I was like, if I put him there, I gotta put him.
Yeah,
it was hard.
Yeah, I put him 4 because I think he inspired a lot of
people to play.
People going forward. BB, you were shaking. You were not.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Being probably one of the older guys on the list. He has that legend name tagged to him. Once again, still playing today. Coming. Whenever their first album came out, 72, 3. Playing from, all the way up till now. It's just great to see him out there still, and I think he was, he has that, copycat. People try to still sound like the AC/DC, and I think a 4 spot here was pretty good.
Dad, any comments on Angus?
I think Angus is great. He ended up there because he has more memorable solos than some of the predecessors on my list. Dude's still out, like BB said. Dude's still out there doing it. How I don't fucking know, but always energetic. And the reason he ended up lower there because look at who we have coming up. Okay, and this from this up to the top is
tough,
insane. to pick, but I think out of the ones coming up, like he ended up there because I think he's my favorite of the rest of them.
Okay.
But there was just some points taken off for like the last, like from after say like Fly on the Wall till like maybe like Ball Breaker or whatever, because the whole lot of Rosie songs weren't there. You were getting more of the mid tempo everything, and you weren't getting those whole lot of Rosie solos either.
Barn burners, yeah.
You weren't getting them. So that kind of knocked it down a little bit. But like who we have coming up, like technically, like popularity, like we'll talk about
Murderers Row.
Yeah,
top 5. Here we go. With a rating of 5.25, we're going to Metallica's Kirk Hammett for number 5. I ranked him the highest at number 3. BB ranked him the lowest at number 7. Or, you ranked him the highest, I ranked him the lowest. I always get confused with, top and bottom.
You ranked them the highest.
Yeah,
I ranked them the lowest. Yeah.
For me, Kirk Hammett, perfect combination of riffs and solos. I like the riffs that Metallica does are ear catching, fantastic, and his solos blow you away. It's a point where you miss those solos on Saint Anger, but he comes back with a vengeance on Death Magnetic with the solos. Those solos are some of his best work in my opinion. So yeah, I had to rank him, high in my book because I go to Metallica quite a bit compared to a lot of these other musicians, and Kirk has just been there from the recorded beginning. I'll say, since he wasn't from the beginning, he was with Exodus at that point. But yeah, Kirk Hammett. What do we have to say?
Kurt, I mean, very solid, not flamboyant. Like you said, the riffs are great. Between the riffs, the soloing, that's why. I mean, I enjoy listening to him because it's solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had him lowest at 7. Between 7, 6, and 5, you can kind of put them in a hat and pick them out. It just seems, maybe the number of times I listened to him. When I saw him in Woodstock '99, he was absolutely crazy. It was just, great guitar player. It just, once again, it just, I just think I listen to these guys more than him.
Yeah, makes sense. Dan?
I gotta say, doing the 2x2s, I do them with Tom Zloty from Shout Out Loudcast, gave me we're up to, I think the next ones we're doing are actually going to be Black Album and Load. I think that the next one's coming up. He's probably one of the most soft-spoken guys on the whole list,
Yeah,
I think.
for sure.
And he's one that definitely does the talking with his guitar. And some of the solos, you're like, holy, even in songs that I don't like The Thing That Should Not Be, that's totally blows. That solo is fucking crazy in there. And he's fantastic. And he seems like just a cool, mellow surfer guy.
Yeah.
But he fucking rocks on stage too, though. But he brings it. And I love his Universal Monster guitars.
Yes.
I love those.
So cool.
I love those.
Yeah, with the movie posters. Plus, he taught Gary Holt how to play guitar.
True.
So, got to give him props for that. Okay, number 4, with the score of 4.75, surprisingly not number 1 on BB's list, Zakk Wylde. Did rank him number 2. And Dad, you had him number 4. Me and BC were around the same. I had 6, and BC had him at 7. BB, you've always been a massive Zakk Wylde fan. Why don't you beat up BC for ranking him so low at 7?
This is what you get for disappointment.
Listen. Remember last
Payback's a bitch.
Remember last episode when I said I loved you 100 times? I'm gonna say fuck you 100 times tonight.
Happy birthday.
I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you, BC.
Someone take it.
Chris Caffrey, the Jester's Court.
Yeah, everybody knows that he's number 2 in my book. He always will be. Just absolutely crazy guitar player, and I like watching him, and I think he can go from crazy heavy shred to super melodic piano, acoustically, in the same song. Just a big diversity that he has in his music. That's where he lays at number 2.
Yeah, I'd put him at 6, alongside Yngwie, because I have similar problems with them that they tend to overplay sometimes on the solo. But I like Zach's stuff a lot better than Yngwie's. Especially riffs. He's so good at riffs.
More memorable stuff.
Yeah, his stuff with Ozzy is just so good. It's fantastic. Dad?
I'm just going to say, I have him at number 4, by the way.
Well, Leishan will have a number 7. I'm so disappointed. I just...
He lost a little points because of singing for me.
Well, I'm glad he's not in the vocalist category.
That's true. That's true.
Jesus Christ.
But I'm just going to say Bloodbath in Paradise.
Yeah. Yeah. BC?
Oh, I mean, to me, Zach is the heavy riff that he comes up with. The Black Label stuff, to me, is killer. I mean, he was definitely more... I used to say shredding back in Ozzy days. But...
Well, I'm going to say a little more.
Uh-oh.
Besides Bloodbath in Paradise, I love Ultimate Sin, but when No Rest for the Wicked came out, it was like, this was what I hoped Ozzy's band would be.
The potential
was realized because I love Ultimate Sin. It's very polished. But I'm not extremely crazy about the production for some reason. It had a little more of a pop edge to it. But I think when No Rest for the Wicked came out, it was like Miracle Man's the opening track, right? Yeah. I was like, whoa, like the tone, and I think that was a huge thing too. Ultimate Sin opened up with Ultimate Sin.
Yeah.
Not a great opening track. That's like fucking Shinjitsu on Iron Maiden. Like they needed a more up tempo. So like No Rest for the Wicked, bang! It had me from the first goddamn song, and where 3/4 of Bark at the Moon sucks. And there's some duds on Blizzard of Oz, and there's some duds on Diary of a Madman. There's some not really any duds on Ultimate Sin, I don't think. But like No Rest for the Wicked, that was the one that I was like, this is it here. This is what I was hoping for this band. And Zach was that.
And we can't forget about Steel Dragon.
Steel Dragon. I like when he shoots the sign with the shotgun.
Hello, Wichita. Okay, top 3 with a score of 3.5. This person was somebody's number 1, and it was the only number 1 that was not the other number 1s were unanimous. This one was not. Slash at 3.5. Number 3. Me and BB had him at number 5.
What?
BC had him at number 3, and number 1 with a bullet, Steve Wright. We all know your love of Slash, but go ahead.
I do. And I've said it. I prefer his solo stuff now to Guns N' Roses, hands down. But and even BB and I went to see him last year with the Blues tour.
Yeah,
killer. I did not, and I didn't even miss any Slash songs. I didn't miss Guns N' Roses at all. Just to watch him get up there and play and just do those songs, and he lets his band do their thing too. That other guy he had playing guitar with him, I couldn't even tell you what the
other
his
guy
name
who
was.
sang a couple songs. Yeah,
he tore it up too, and Slash is not afraid to let someone else in his band shine. You know, his solos, I know you guys hate it, but that 17-minute version of fucking Rocket Queen of that live album is fucking just, oh my god, it's killer. And I like it because like there's some players, the guy that's probably going to be number 2, he's my number 2 also, but overall, like some of this, some of it gets boring. Like we've seen this the other guy. And, I'll talk about him when he goes there. But I don't get bored watching Slash ever. I think he's, and like I said, I'll take him in with his solo stuff anytime, and we may be talking about some of that in the future.
And his mom was a costume designer for David Bowie.
Yeah.
So, can't deny that. BB, I know you like Slash, but...
Yeah, I'd probably have him the lowest, but that's just, where he fell in the list. But
still top 5.
Yeah. What I always liked about Slash, he seems like he's a humble player. Like, he never really went out in the middle of the stage and just put the spotlights on me. It was, a lot of it was about the band, how they sounded. He was never like the flamboyant guy, but under that, he like tore it up every time I saw him. Like, it just like Steve said when we saw him with the blues thing, a totally different spectrum from watching him. Amazing what he can do, and then whatever that thing was, like that, I don't know what it was like a steel guitar, but it was like a little piano thing, but you played it.
Maybe like a sitar.
It was like, yeah, maybe that. I'll have to look and see what it actually called. But he played that thing, and you're like, holy shit. And like I said, probably the most humblest guy on this list.
Yeah. Plus, I also loved when he would do the love theme for The Godfather as his like solo with Guns N' Roses. Very cool choice. BC? Slash?
Slash tears it up. But tears it up soulfully. To me, when he starts
soulfully
going,
and tastefully.
Yes, he's not just to do it. We've seen how many times.
Yeah, and like I said, I'll take him solo any day because BC and I were talking about that when we went to see Rockstar Revolution. Is that what Rockstar Revolution? Ozzy's band.
Yeah,
Rockstar Revolution, and their guitar player. A lot of times you couldn't hear his rhythm playing. But then when he soloed, it was there. And I said to BC, I said, well, that's what Slash does. When Slash plays a solo, if you watch him, I think the only thing he has on stage is a wah pedal. And his guitar roadie does the rest of the stuff. So when Slash is going to play a solo, there's an amplifier, but I don't know what the pedal box is called. But it ramps up his volume 11% when he's going to solo. So I think that's what that guy had there. Because you could hear the solos were crisp and clear, and then when he went back to the rhythm, it was like down again. I think that's what he does. So like when Slash does that, because they had a video on, it's on YouTube, that they go through his gear, and they go, his guitar tech is doing that. He goes, well, this is why you can hear Slash so good in shows, because he said, I hit that stomp box, and that he said, and it amplifies his volume 11% when he solos. But it's higher, but it's not enough where it drowns everything out.
Very good. We're in the final.
You gotta love the top hat.
Yeah, the top hat's a classic.
True.
Final 2. This one came in at a rating of 2.25. Mother don't want to go to school today because Nuno Betancourt is number 2. Everybody had him at number 2 except BB, who had him at number 3. Nuno, I just think I love the bombast of his like riffs, like the fun, especially the first 2 albums. Like there's that kind of like attitude to it that like you think about like Play With Me, like it feels like kind of like schoolyard taunting at times, but then like he can just shred as well. I think technically he might be the best guitarist of the that we're talking about, debatably. But I think he has the melodicness that goes with it.
Yeah, I saw him on the boat both times. Once in the theater and once on the pool deck. Amazing guitar player. Probably the top guy now. Everybody's trying to chase Nuno. Tears it up. He goes from crazy guitar solos electrically to sits down and brings out the acoustic and just brings the show to like emotional knees. It's just absolutely crazy what he can do. And really enjoyed watching him, last month, I guess it was, 2 months ago. Great guitar player.
See, and BB brought up the thing that I was almost said during Slash. When he brings out that acoustic, it just gets boring. It does, and I got to tell you, I not this last cruise that you were on, BB, the one before it. I was somewhere on the ship, and Nuno was walking by himself, and I stopped for maybe a minute, and I said, "Hey Nuno," I said, "I just want to tell you," I just said, in my opinion, I said, and I don't think it's wrong, I said, you are the most talented musician that's on the ship. Holy shit, man, thanks, I really appreciate that. I'm like, I just want to say that and shake your hand. I didn't even get a picture or nothing. And it was a real quick interaction like that. And I think it holds up true. He is just so talented, and he has a great stage presence. I just wish that the extreme music catalog was better. I don't enjoy it at all. I like the self-titled one. I like Porno Graffiti 2, which there was no Porno Graffiti 1, but who's counting? And I only like 2/3 of that album too. After that, I don't really like anything. Like Three Sides to a Story, I think, and Punchline, whatever the fuck Punchline, the one album. Although the last album was good though, Extreme 7, Extreme 6. That one was a lot better. I like that one in the first two, but I don't like their catalog. It's just too I don't know. But he's absolutely fantastic. I just like that acoustic shit gets me bored. There's no need for that on the cruise.
Any comments, BC?
I mean, the more I see him live, like you said, that guy's just full of talent. I'm a fan of acoustic, so I don't mind a little acoustic here and there, but very talented, just not over the top. No. I like that about, he's like, he doesn't walk in like, look at me. Like somebody else.
No, he's very humble.
Somebody lowered the list on this list. But.
Okay.
Was it last year? Not this cruise, the last year. Is that when you were on the pool deck? He was good then.
Yeah.
He was real good.
That was a good show. It was me, you, and Granza, and Jen watching that one. They got the pictures of all of us. That was good.
Okay, and number one at 1.5. No surprise here. All of us had him at number one except one person. Eddie Van Halen. And Dad, you had him at number 3.
I did. My bad again. That's the geezer,
I didn't read the list.
That's the geezer syndrome on here. And literally, I only put that because I've seen Slash and I've seen Nuno more live, I think. And I just... My one thing about Ed Van Halen was that... Van Halen 1 came out in 1978, right? And he passed away in 2020, maybe?
22?
Something like that.
21?
His musical output in that span of time is not, I won't say not great, but there's not a lot of it. It's absolutely fantastic. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, there was so much potential to do much more with his talent. Like, album-wise. Like, and I know it was a thing with the band that, him and Alex kind of agreed that they would only do things with one another. But I think that really handcuffed him. Like, because, like, Alex, I guess, was pissed when he did
Think from Michael Jackson.
Beat It. He was pissed when that happened. And he just did it as a favor. But I think that he could have done so much more with that talent he had. And I think that right now Alex is holding up a lot of the, if you want to say the vault stuff or whatever. I don't know. But I really think that he could have done a lot more quantity-wise with his talent. Totally happy with what he has out. But I think there was some potential for so much more. And it just, it didn't get out.
Trapped.
Oh, and speaking of, did you see Mammoth were they at that festival? Did you watch? How was it?
I heard something. I thought it was good.
Okay.
I mean, and I did say this earlier, like I said, there's the stage here. You come out so far, and it would have just speakers. Then you come out so much far, they have big screens and more speakers. Depending on where you were, without
The way the wind was blowing.
And the wind was
It
blowing.
mixed it up.
And it got echoey.
Yeah.
I mean, they had speakers throughout the whole place.
Right. And I meant to ask you because I knew he was on the bill.
I just, now that you say that, because it was echoey. I mean,
Okay.
Just trying to get around the whole place. If you're here and you want to get over here to see Matt,
Take you forever.
take it a whole half the set.
Yeah.
But they had all these speakers over the place, which I understand that way. But to me, it got echoey. Depending on if you're over here
Right.
and the wind blew, you
Right.
could tell when the wind was blowing. It was sound be great. Be
Okay.
like muffled a little bit.
All right. Back to Ed. I'm sorry.
Back then. I mean, growing up, I mean, Van Halen was probably one of them. It was Kiss, Van Halen,
And then everyone else.
and then everybody else. The flood came after that.
Yeah, pretty much. That's that's where I'm at. He pretty much changed. Not only the music I listened to, but pretty much music. In general, from just destroying guitars and putting the guitars together to get the sound he wants, and bringing the synthesizers and keyboards into Van Halen, like changing that diversity of the band. I think out of the four lists, this is the only easy pick I had. When I saw this, I'm like, no problem, number one. You know what I mean? After that, sometimes you get between 5, 6, 7, 8. You could put it in a hat and pull out the names, but this was an easy number one for me.
Okay. Van Halen. What can you say about him? It's Eddie Van Halen.
It's Van Halen.
Okay, we're moving on to the singers now to close us out. The singers we're going to be talking about are Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses, Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden, David Lee Roth from Van Halen, Freddie Mercury from Queen, Rob Halford from Judas Priest, Ronnie James Dio from Black Sabbath and Dio and Heaven and Hell, Sammy Hagar from Sammy Hagar and Van Halen, and Montrose, Sebastian Bach from Skid Row, Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, and Vince Neil from Motley Crue. Okay, gang, let's get into it. Number 10,
Let's get in.
with a ranking of 8.75.
Sammy Hagar.
This was two people's dead last, one person's second to dead last, and one person's number 6.
What?
It was Vince Neil at 8.75. Steve and BC had him dead last, and BB had him at number 6. BB has shown his love for Motley Crue this episode. I think
He's like they're dead. All my Motley Crue are like dead middle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These guys are gonna say he can't sing now. Of course he can't sing now because he's fucking 90 years old and he's big and fat. But when they were releasing albums, there was no problem of guys trying to dress like him, guys trying to sing like him, sound like him. You were all screaming. When Shout of the Devil came out, you guys were all screaming at the top of your lungs. And I think that's a good spot right in the middle of these guys. I think he fits there.
Steve or BC?
Vince Neil, he kind of ranks there with David Lee Roth. Even back in the day, he wasn't the greatest vocalist. Great front man. He fit the music back then. Has he gone downhill? Yes. But who doesn't? But overall, with these guys on this list, this bottom part of my list was...
Yeah.
They could have fell anywhere.
Yeah. For me, I honestly, I enjoy Motley Crue. I enjoy their music. I never thought Vince was a great frontman to begin with. He was okay. He was just the guy that was singing. They could have had whoever in there, I think, as long as he did justice to the songs. I thought he was an okay frontman. Not crazy good. But he, vocally was never fantastic. His stuff fit the music. But, he's 10 for me. Because he's a douche, too, and he killed that dude.
Yeah, he did commit. He killed manslaughter.
Parachute pants because of Vince.
You wore parachute pants.
I wore parachute pants because of Def Leppard, motherfucker.
MC Hammer.
Okay, number 9 with a score of 7.75. This person, 2 people ranked it second to last. One person ranked it number 8, and one person ranked him number 5. Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses. Yet again, Steve and BC are on the same page, and BB is the outlier on that.
It's the age thing. It's the couple years difference. It's I played more Guns N' Roses than the bottom bands that we're going to talk about. Played a lot of them, still do. I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore.
Axl Rose, Appetite for Destruction came out, I was like, this is different, this is new, it's fresh. He fit the band great. He was good. As the career went on, I thought he got a little too full of himself, which brought him down in my book. And too much of just fucking like the first album.
Yeah, I think my 10 through 8, I put them there because they, for me, had a very short shelf life. Like, they were fantastic, like, at the peak of their performances. Obviously, Vince Neil was my number 9, and Axl's my number 8. We'll get to my number 10 in a bit. But I just think that, like, once they passed their expiration date, and they did it rather quickly, they really fell off compared to everybody else on this list.
Yeah, I think for me it's Axl's longevity. He, they did.
You want to talk about a catalog of music.
Appetite for Destruction. Use Your Illusions 1 and 2, and then the Spaghetti Incident. I still don't even know what the fuck that is. It's terrible. But and then it was nothing for 20 years, and then you get Chinese Democracy, which we covered on this podcast, which after all wasn't as bad as I thought it was, but not great, not worth waiting 20 years for. Yeah. And BC hit the nail on the head. He just got too full of himself, and I don't know. He just seems like a douche.
Okay. Number 8, with a ranking of 7. 2 people had him at 8. So they got it bang on the money. I had him the highest at number 5. Steven Tyler. Steven Tyler, I felt like had a longer shelf life. I think that I love the scatting he does in the music. Like, I think that that's so unique compared to, like, everybody else going on. I just think he has a really good personality to front the band. So, that's why I had him as high as I did. The Killer Bees actually were simpatico in this one. You both had him at number 8. And you had him at 7, so you were pretty close with him.
We're all in there.
I was pretty close to him. I have him at 7. And actually the guy I have ahead of him is only ahead of him because of vocal ability. But Axl and Vince Neil, and the guy that's my number 6, I really think that this guy was an influence on these guys. He was a front man from the 70s, so a lot of these guys that came out in the 80s have a lot of Steven Tylerisms in their stage presence, their mannerisms, their some of them stage banter, I think. And I saw Aerosmith 2 or 3 times, and Steven Tyler did not disappoint. He's iconic. I love his vocals. Like I said, I love the 70s stuff. I don't love their whole catalog.
Yeah.
I don't think that Aerosmith has a perfect album. I don't. The closest that I think the album that they have that's perfect is probably
Rocks.
Permanent Vacation. No. Rocks. No. Rocks is close, but no.
What don't you like on Rocks?
There's some slow song that sucks on there. But I think that he's a guy that was an influence on these not the metal guys that we're going to talk about, but like these like hard rock guys.
Yeah, I mean, like literally, Axl Rose and Slash were compared to Joe Perry.
Yeah, and what's on their first EP, Mama Kin.
Yep, that's a good point. Yep. BB, what do you have to say?
Yeah, he's consistent. vocally consistent. You know, you listen to like some of the early stuff. You know, listen to stuff from the '80s. You know, got a little bit poppy-ish, but his vocals, you know, pretty much stayed in that perfect pocket. Didn't kind of go crazy. You know, I you know, when Steve started talking, I'm like, boy, you know, so I look at this list, I'm like, You know, I would like to kind of shuffle a couple people, but you know, but the way I listen, you know, I kind of list them the way I listen to them. But yeah, Steven Tyler, even still, you know, still somewhat, you know, vocally okay, but yeah, he's consistent. That's the word I'm gonna use.
Not now vocally, I don't think, because I think he shredded his vocal cords, and I think that's why they canceled.
He did one song with somebody somewhere, and that was it.
Yeah, and also BC, on Vince Neil's one solo album, they cover Nobody's Fault.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a great song off of Rocks. BC.
Yeah, when I first started getting into Aerosmith, I was like the '70s Aerosmith. I was like. And then, to me, Done with Mirrors, Permanent Vacation, Get a Grip. That was the height.
They were hitting their stride.
They were hitting their stride, right? But those albums, just vocal style, I liked. Frontmanship, he had the full package, I thought.
Yeah, I think in the '90s he was even if you don't like the songs, like the stuff on like Nine Lives and Just Push Play, his vocals are really good on them. I mean, you just listen to
songs may not be great,
like
but
Beyond Beautiful, like he's up with and then he just like I love that. Yeah, okay, Steven Tyler.
But like look at some of the vocal things that Axl Rose does at the end of songs. They're Steven Tyler things.
For sure, yeah, he definitely took a lot of inspiration from that, and I do love those vocal things from Axl as well. Okay, we're going to number 7 with a ranking of 5.75. Adam Sandler says that this man lights the menorah. Who is it, Dad? BB.
David Lee Roth.
Yes.
Who is David Lee Roth?
He's number 7?
Yep. So do James Caan and the late Dinah Shore.
Yeah. I didn't fuck this one up.
Yeah, here's the rankings for David Lee Roth. Steve and BB had him at number 4. BC had him at number 5. I had him at number 10.
Come on!
And like I said, my 10 through 8 had a very short shelf life. And
get the fuck out.
Objectively, he is the worst singer on this list. I don't know how you can say otherwise.
But he's the best frontman on the list.
That's
gotta count for
singer.
something.
I didn't say front. We're not talking frontman this time. I said singer. So I had to put him last. He's a great showman. He's not a great singer at all.
I think on the albums he sings absolutely fine.
Anybody can sing fantastic on an album.
We're not talking singing live specifically, are we? No.
Okay, why don't you preach from the altar of David Lee Roth?
I have David number 4, and I have his performance in mind. And I've said it a billion times. No one ever came away from a Van Halen show saying, boy, David Lee Roth sounded great tonight. You'll never hear that. You won't hear it now. But you'll hear, man, Dave was awesome. But those Van Halen albums, I think he sounds great. I don't think anybody else in the world that ever sang a song can sing those classic Van Halen songs other than David Lee Roth. No one.
Yeah.
That's why he's there.
BC?
I'm going to pick up where you...
Listen to Sammy sing one of them fucking songs. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's not the same. I mean, yeah, he's not the greatest singer. Frontman, yes, but listen to those albums. You grew up on these albums, like just the way he portrays and comes off.
He has
with
the attitude, yeah.
He has the attitude that makes these songs iconic.
And he was another singer on every album. He stayed in his pocket. Like nowadays, like you try to hear like Michael Sweet trying to hit the high note he hit in 1985. You can't do it, but he's still trying to hit it. You know, Dave always stayed in that pocket lane. Always sounded good. You know, I'm surprised. I'm surprised of Dylan's pick, but I understand where he's going.
You shocked me in reverse, BB.
Don't worry. I'll get him back when we talk about somebody else.
Yeah, no, we're getting to that very, very soon. We have the tie at number 5. I'll do the one that doesn't make me angry first. They both had a score of 5.25. We are going to Mr. Swing the Microphone, Sebastian Bach. Basically, three of us had him around the same area. Steve and BC had him at 6. I had him at 7. BB had him at number 2.
What I listen to, some of these guys, maybe my 2, 3, 4 could be flipped around, but the day I picked them, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna throw him up there. Back in the day, he was out there. He was the big guy. He was the leader. Everybody wanted to sound like Sebastian Bach and Skid Row. Not to take away from any of this, and I listened to the shit out of those first 2 albums too. And this is kind of where my picks are coming from. Like, not today. Kind of what I used to listen to, what I kind of still listen to. And that's where Sebastian Bach's going to be for me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Sebastian Bach, when he came out, he was fucking on fire. I mean, vocally, frontmanish. Even today, I
Still sounds pretty decent.
he still sounds pretty decent. I mean, can he do? No. But who can? But
Eric Grunwald.
he's still a lot younger. But overall, I mean, he still sounds decent today, and he doesn't overdo himself.
Right. For the reputation of a douche that he has, I met the man twice, and he was super cool to me both times.
Dude.
So I mean, but we've all seen it in 3 where he's yelling at the crowd for not knowing his new music or whatever. He does come off that way.
I can agree with it a little bit.
Huh?
I can agree with that a little bit.
Yeah.
Not to yell at people, but
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
people are there for the hits.
Don't lose the shit over it though. In front of everybody, and then makes you want to not listen to it even more. But I still like with the exception of, I have him at 6. He came in at 5 on this one as a tie, right?
Yes.
I still think he sounds great. I like his solo stuff. The last solo album, not considering the cover, was fucking fantastic. I thought it was great. Remember, didn't they have that album cover on the ship on sale as a painting for like
somebody painted
$50,000 or some fucking thing? Relax. But I mean, I think he still sounds great, and I think that he's another guy that, under the radar, surrounds himself with great musicians. I don't think he's had a bad solo album.
Yeah.
I've liked everything that he's released, after Skid Row.
Yeah. And I will say that he is one of the 3 names that Christine knows on this singers list.
because he was in Gilmore Girls.
That's right. Yep, he played Gil.
I told Casey I met him on
Who played more?
I told Casey that. She goes, "You didn't get a picture with him?" I'm like, "No."
Yes, you did.
Well, I saw him on the boat.
Oh, okay.
I forget what show it was. I was going to get a beer and I had my Watts shirt on. He goes, "Whoa, that's a heavy shirt." I go, "Are you serious or are you just being a dick?" "No, I'm serious." He goes, Eddie fucking Trunk was, "Hey, look at his shirt." I go, "It's not old." I go, "I just got it." "Oh, gee, I thought it was like a throwback shirt." No.
Read the shirt, 40th anniversary.
Fucking idiot.
Do you want a picture? Yeah, take one of me and Eddie.
Yeah. Here.
But you still had him at number 2. Okay. And now we get to my biggest pain point of the night.
I'm so sorry.
Tied with Sebastian Bach at number 5, with 5.25, is Freddie Mercury. And the 2 people that killed it are my dad ranking him number 8 and BB ranking him dead last at number 10. And because of that, this is the
Last
biggest,
episode, Dylan will let BB be on.
This is the biggest outlier because I had him at number 1. BC agreed with me. He had him at number 2. If we want to talk about, if you're all about David Lee Roth being showman, Freddie Mercury was the showman, my guy. And you're listening to Queen with me. I figured you would have been right alongside me.
The weird stuff knocked it down for me.
He rocks that weird stuff out though.
I know. I just comparative. I'm going with like the BB method on this one.
There you go.
Thank you.
For what I listen
for what I listen to. Like I listen to more.
Queen is all over the radio.
I listen to more Aerosmith. Like willingly listen to it. Like I will throw on more, the guys that are coming up, and you know what I mean. And there's no one. The only two that I like everybody, but I don't love everybody on this. But like I don't know, he needed to end up somewhere. I'm going to BB defense on this one.
Yeah. BB.
Yeah, I only own one out of all the years I've collected, cassettes, vinyl, CDs, 8-tracks,
Reel to reel, laser discs,
DVDs, concert DVDs, concert VHS. I own one Queen album.
The Game.
Not even the greatest hits. The greatest hits is like, there's a joke in a book that I read that like every CD that's in your car eventually turns into Queen's greatest hits.
I'll have to listen to Queen's greatest hits, but I probably know all the songs from just being on the radio.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's just
that's all it is.
It was just Kristen Scott Wagner had the game, and I got it, and after that I'm like, all right, I'm kind of done with it. It was just, but probably honestly, when you look at the list, he's easily top 3 vocalists.
I think performers as well. You watch Live Aid, and that was like, they were like on a break before that, and they came together, and like he's just all over. He has the awesome like bottomless microphone stand that he's carrying around.
That is cool.
He has the stance.
Like I think David Lee Roth has a lot to pull from Freddie.
There's a little
Well,
copy in there going on.
Van Halen used to cover Queen.
Yeah. It
I'm
just
sorry.
hurt my soul.
I'm sorry.
It felt like an attack.
I have more Rush albums than Queen albums, Dill.
I rank up high because, like, as I matured musically,
Okay.
Wow. That's a big word for Elmo.
Well put.
But I said musically, I didn't say me. But I started diving into Queen stuff. And, you gotta give it the guy. Like Dylan said, he has frontmanship, but he has the shit to back it up.
Yeah.
He has the goods.
He's the only person that I think is allowed to do the call and response with the crowd. Like, the Dale! 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 Like, come on, iconic.
I don't disagree.
Apparently you do at number 8.
I really do a 10.
Okay. Number 4, ranked average ranking of 5. We are going back to Van Halen with Sammy Hagar. Me and you, Dad, were simpatico, at least on this one. We both ranked him 5. BC ranked him number 7. And BB, the big Van Hagar fan, ranked him number 3.
Yeah, coming in from 84 to 5150, and knowing VOA and all that stuff. So I was super excited that Sammy was coming to Van Halen, and it just changed something for me. 5150, I still constantly, play the shit out of. Just brings back great memories. And Sammy, I think Sammy's a great singer, honestly. Even from his solo stuff. Still with Chickenfoot and stuff, he's still putting out now, and doing his Vegas residency. It's great to see him still out there doing it. Still writing music, performing. So he's there. He's there. I think that middle 2, 3, 4 could be shuffled around a little bit, but I like where he sits there.
Yeah. BC?
I've been Sammy since VOA, earlier stuff, the solo stuff. Then he went to Van Halen. I was kind of, but I've grown musically to appreciate Sammy, and 5150 has really grown on me as far as an album wise. But here he is still doing it today.
Yeah.
He's 71?
Something like that.
Anyway,
I think he had his 70th birthday.
Yeah, he's in early 70s, but I mean, he still can bring it and bring it good.
Yeah, I've never been, for as much as I bust Jen, I do like Sammy. I've liked Sammy.
Shit.
I loved his
Sammy is 77.
years old.
Oh, 77. Okay.
We
Wow.
better start drinking tequila, boys.
You know,
Has to get it.
I've always liked Sammy. I've liked, even before he was in Van Halen, I liked the solo stuff. I was a huge fan of Stanley Hampton, which There's Only One Way to Rock is mentioned in my favorite song in my high school yearbook.
I was wrong about that.
And so I've always liked Sammy. I bust Jen about not liking Sammy, but I will never, ever, ever in a billion years pick Sammy Van Halen over Dave Van Halen. Although I will say that Black and Blue is probably a top 10 Van Halen song for me overall. And I think Sammy's a great entertainer. BB and I went to see him last year. Had a great time at the show. Sammy's still bringing it. He is another one that I'm a huge fan of. People like that. They know, and they always surround themselves with talent, and that they help them shine, but they also let the other people that they're playing with shine as well.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, we're in the top 3. These are singers that we all very much love and respect. So any of these could be number 1, but we'll see who makes it. And number 3, with a ranking of 4.75, we're going to the beast that is the priest, Rob Halford. Me and BC had him at number 4. Dad, you had him number 2. BB had him at number 9. The bat is coming out. Number 2, Dad, what'd you think?
Here's a guy.
Yeah, he is.
Slowed down. Absolutely. Dude's in his 70s as well. Still out there. Still bringing it. The last 2 Priest albums. And here's another thing to kind of talk about too here. Guys that we're talking about on this list. Still creating music. He's one of the few out of a lot of these people on the list. Well, maybe not. Maybe the singers only. But like those last 2 Priest albums, Firepower and Invincible Shield, absolutely still fucking bringing it. And like I said, he's slowed down on stage, but he's still got the vocals. He's he's not Defenders of the Faith, Screaming for Vengeance, Rob Halford. You can't be. But I think he's still great. He's a huge champion of his fans. I think the metal god things played a little too much, I think. But the dude's still fucking bringing it.
BB, I'm assuming it's not listening as much to Juice.
Not as much, and I think I even like Firepower and Invincible Shield better than like the older stuff, like British Steel and those. I think that now grabs me more musically, vocally than it did back in the day, and I think that's just the reason why we're going to talk about somebody else, and he's another reason why it's so low, because I think now I love the stuff they're releasing compared to a lot of the stuff back then. It's what I listen to, I guess.
BC?
I mean, your dad touched on it. To me, they're in a group of bands, the older bands that are still creating music, still moving forward, still bringing it live. I mean, Rob Halford, like you said, he's up there in age, as they all are getting up there in age, but he still brings a level of quality to it.
Yeah.
In my book.
Yeah, I really like Rob Halford's vocals. I think he has a pared back presence for a singer, but still like a commanding presence. It's not like he's running all over the stage.
He was never that guy.
But like he's still like kind of can pull your attention.
He commands it.
Yeah. So yeah, I really like Rob Halford and am not upset about him being in the top 3. Okay, number 2 with a score of 2.75, and it's only a 0.25 difference from the number 1, so it was very close. But number 2 is the air raid siren, Bruce Dickinson. So let's see, Bruce Dickinson is number 2 because is that right? Yeah, I guess so. Because of an outlier. Two people had him ranked number 1. I had him ranked number 2. BB had him ranked number 7.
What?
So I think Bruce Dickinson is somebody who has that energy. Like he's running around. He does costume changes. He could tell a story. I think he is kind of a full package. So I was happy to put him as my number 2. Obviously, you two are massive Iron Maiden fans. What do you think, BC?
Bruce Dickinson, come on. You said it, he's the full package. I mean, showmanship. He's 100 miles an hour. He has the pipes. I mean,
he's fighting the band's mascot on stage even now.
Fucking Eddie all the time. I mean, just how can he?
Yeah, Bruce Dickinson, one of probably the most prolific and creative guys in metal that are still out there doing stuff. Dude flies their plane.
Yep.
To the shows. Pilot, he was just missed it by a sea hair to be on the England Olympic fencing team in, I don't know, 84 Olympics maybe. Something like that. Author, just the guy's amazing. He's the one that we're talking, he's the guy in the most in this of everybody we talked about, with maybe the exception of Neil Peart, that elevated the band that he joined exponentially.
Mm-hmm. That was already in progress.
That was already going. He came in on Number of the Beast. Listen, I mean, and I love Killers. I love the first Iron Maiden album, but goddamn, Number of the Beast, light years ahead of those. Sonically, and he wasn't legally allowed to contribute to writing on Number of the Beast, but there's things out there that says that he had
a hand
in some of the stuff, and he's still doing it. Look at the dip the band took when he left the band. I think it started to take the dip when Adrian Smith left even more, but they bring in Blaze Bayley. Some people love him, some people hate him. I'm, in the middle. I just got to be in the mood for it. But when he came back, Iron Maiden, they were just flying along, and then they just took off. They're probably, with maybe the exception of Metallica, the biggest metal band in the world right now. And it's undeniable. Dude sang on 2 albums ago with throat cancer, and you couldn't tell a bit. Amazing guy, amazing front man, still brings it live. When me and BC went to see them down in Camden, he did a scream. He does that like that. It fucking hurt my fucking ears. It was painful. It was such a volume. That's why he's my number 1.
BB?
I'm going to invoke my Fifth Amendment right and just not say anything because I'm an idiot.
You're not an idiot. We love the.
We still love you, even though you make poor choices in life. We still.
It
love
makes for a good conversation.
That is true.
And
yeah, I don't know what it. I don't know. I think a lot of these lists, 1, 2, 3, boom, and then boom, 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 10, 11, 10, 9, 8, and
yeah,
the middle is all right, boop, 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 boop.
Maybe he did what I did with the geezer.
But
geezer syndrome.
No, it's fair for sure. You see a list of names and you get really excited about some of them, and then once that fades, it's oh, okay, I guess I'll put him there. So completely understandable, except for Freddie Mercury. Okay. And number 1 with a score of 2.5, Ronnie James Dio. So everybody except BB had him at number 3. BB had him at number 1. And that's something that we could understand for sure, BB. I think he's a fantastic, much like Bruce, I think he's a really good storyteller. He is very, he's somebody whose movements are, everything's precise, a flourish. He's not somebody who sprints around the stage, but for such a short statured man, he has a very powerful presence on stage. BB, number 1.
Yeah, he's been a favorite of mine for a while now. Even to this day, like 2 days ago, I listened to Lock Up the Wolves, and and then I look at the list. And I'm like, I haven't listened to anybody's album in the last month on this list. And I listened to Lock Up the Wolves the other day at work. So it's it fits me. I can remember the day I first heard Dio, so it's kind of like still in my memory. But yeah, he's another favorite for me.
BC?
Ronnie James Dio. I mean, you hit it right on the head. I mean, such a little man, but on stage, such a presence.
Yeah.
I mean, that says it so much right there. I mean, the albums he put out throughout the 80s and even the later albums I thought were getting better and better. Unfortunately, we lost them, so we never know if it continued like that, but I would predict it would have.
Yeah. Yeah, Ronnie James Dio, I have to give a shout out and thank our friend that's been on the podcast before, Ed Jankowskis, for bringing Dio to my attention back in the day with probably Rainbow, I think. Excuse me. And Dio's ever since probably 1980 when Heaven and Hell came out, my first Black Sabbath album that I had. I may have had We Sold Our Souls for Rock and Roll before that, but my first actually studio album I think was Heaven and Hell. Listened to the hell out of that album. And one thing that really sticks with me is BC and I actually did this together when we interviewed David Feinstein from the Rods, who was Ronnie's first cousin. And we went up to their studio where they practice for the Rods. And BC and I actually stood in the same exact spot where Ronnie recorded his last vocal ever. It was like awe-inspiring. Hair standing up on your neck and on your arms, just crazy, just standing right there where the man stood and sang like his last recorded vocal. There's not albums that we talked about, like Holy Diver, Last in Line. I could throw them on at any time. If there's something, if we all get into a musical rut. Like you're sick of everything that you're fucking listening to. Dio is always one that I could come back to. Throw on Holy Diver, throw on Last in Line, and they just bring you right back to that good area. And in Dio, I saw him on the Last in Line tour. It was one of the first like maybe 5 concerts that I saw, like main concerts, and it's still in my top 5 shows of all times. And through the lists like Dio, Lemmy, Neil Peart, they're guys that I would just love to have had a chance to sit down and have a beer with and just shoot the shit.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, gang, that is the rankings. So now I'm going to give you a band that is the worst musicians, and I'm going to give you a band that is the best musicians. And you tell me anything you could kind of think of with this. So the worst musician band is Vince Neil on vocals, Joe Perry on guitar, Nikki Sixx on bass, and Eric Singer on drums. I think that's not a bad matchup. I think that's a pretty decent, thing. I feel like Joe and Vince would probably be the driving, like kind of maneuvering of the band. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I would go if they played a show. I would go see it. Maybe 10 years ago, vocally, but Joe Perry's always
Perry's
cool.
gonna sing some.
Yeah, and Eric Singer on drums. He's kind of fall off the face of the earth since Kiss ended.
Yeah,
and he's the only one that has not been announced for the Kiss Invades Vegas or whatever the fuck it is coming up.
Bruce Kulick was announced.
And Nikki Sixx. They could plug him in and he could play something, I guess. But I think the choice of songs would be cool. So if you, I mean, think of a going to a band, going to a club and seeing these guys play. You're gonna get songs from, for Eric Singer, Kiss, Alice Cooper, Badlands. You know, from Nicky, you're gonna get Motley Crue. Vince, you're gonna get Motley Crue. But also Nicky, you may get a 6 a.m. song in there. Joe Perry, I mean, you could get. Joe Perry could literally carry the night with Aerosmith classics.
And like
he can play the dictionary.
He's been in this kind of situation before with the Hollywood Vampires. So
yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. BB, any
Yeah,
thoughts?
I like this. I like to see Vince and Joe Perry kind of go at it. It just seems like that combination. I just think Vince would be such a dick that Joe Perry'd end up hitting him in the middle of the set or something.
I think it would be a schism of Joe and Eric versus Nicky and Vince, and then Nicky and Vince would also fight.
Yeah.
BC.
I would take Vince in his solo album stage.
Absolutely.
Take Vince at that time, put him with Joe Perry and that Eric Singer. Come on, the weakest link, Nicky Six.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's go into the best band. We got Ronnie James Dio on vocals, Eddie Van Halen on guitar, Billy Sheehan on bass, and Neil Peart on drums. I don't think this band would work.
I don't think so either. There's two that would fit, and then two that would fit.
It's too chaotic. Yeah.
That's a split down the middle.
Like I can't, because there's a version of Dream On an Aerosmith tribute album. Ronnie sings.
Yeah.
Yngwie plays guitar.
Oh God.
The singing is. I hate Dream On, but the singing is great, and it's like it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit, and I don't think Ronnie's voice would fit with Eddie's guitar playing.
No.
I don't. It's not that kind of music.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure Neil could play anything.
Yeah.
But like, I think it would be, not to insult who Billy Sheehan would be on bass.
Yeah.
I mean, Billy and Neil Peart would fit great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like individual pieces would fit I think Billy and Eddie would fit well together because it's a very similar like Steve Vai and Bill.
Right.
But
I think Ronnie's the outlier on that one.
yeah, he's very like fantasy.
Right. It's not.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I could think of from Dio's catalog is This One's For You. From I think Master of the Moon. I think that's more of a kind of a party Dio song, I guess. But he's not that kind of artist.
And neither is Neil. Like Neil's so literary.
No. Because listen to the first Rush album and then Fly By Night. They're day and night.
Yeah.
Because there's some like Led Zeppelin-y type, good time rock and roll stuff on the first Rush album.
Yeah.
And then you get into like Anthem and stuff like that on Fly By Night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't, mesh.
Yeah.
It'd be like the Winery Dogs. You wouldn't know who to watch.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you got an added guy. So no.
You should have did a middle of the road band.
Yeah.
Like the five across the board.
I can do that real quick. Okay, so the drummers for the five band, Vinny Appice is the drummer. Gene Simmons is the bassist. Kirk Hammett is the guitarist, and we'll say Sebastian Bach is the vocalist. I don't think Freddie Mercury would work as well with that group.
That would be interesting.
That could happen today.
That is
That could actually literally happen. That'd be cool. I would check that out.
Yeah.
I think Vinny can play whatever. Gene can, as long as Gene doesn't have to talk, will be good. Sebastian can do all the talking for them.
Yeah.
That'd be all right.
Yeah, I think that would maybe be the biggest, Gene and Sebastian ego, but I think that they would be able to, because Sebastian had to be with Ted Nugent for Democracy, so if he could survive
Ted Nugent had to be with Sebastian Bach.
I could see
Scotty
that band.
had to be with Sebastian Bach and Ted Nugent.
Yeah. I could see them doing like a AC/DC tribute song, like on a tribute album, when you get all those guys together.
Do like a Highway to Hell or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, for
That'll
sure.
work.
Yeah, Kirk could just go with the flow.
Yeah.
Kirk could just Kirk just goes with the flow regardless. He was like, so they said no solos. He argued for it, but he still did it.
I know.
So, I mean, and the reason why I wanted to do this thing, because, like, I think it's great to showcase that, like, just because you are the best doesn't mean that you're the best in every situation. Because, like, we looked at the best musicians, like, they would not fit in a band at all together. But we look at the worst musicians. They would probably...
And worst is...
Yeah, like, in that... Yeah.
Is, subjective.
Yeah, so that's all I have for this episode. Do you want...
All right, yeah. We'll go around, wrap up real quick, and we get on. This was a long one, but it was great. It seemed like it flew by.
Yeah. BB, what do you got to say?
Yeah, this was fun. A lot of ball busting. You know, BC, I took the brunt of it this week, so and like I said before, I think it's just an age thing. You guys like the Priest, Iron Maiden. You know, they're a little bit lower for me compared to the, you know, like the Motley Crues and the Guns N' Roses are a little bit higher. This is a great episode because it kind of gives a little diversity of what you're really into, what you used to listen to, what you still listen to, and just the different guys that Dylan put on all these lists. They were, you know, very debatable. You know, a lot of them we were spot on. Then other ones were all over the place. You know, but yeah, this is a great one. This was fun.
I really had a great time putting this together. I thought that everybody had like some really great choices for their picks because it sparked conversation, and that's really kind of what I wanted to do with this was, you know, start up a convo. I think that the best conversations come from rankings. I think that ranking lists like on like BuzzFeed or things like that like are often considered, I don't want to say lazy, but like they're considered pretty easy things to put out for thing. But I think that they are great because they drive engagement. They're really great for discussion. They're great to be like, well, why did they pick that? That should have been the, like, you think about all like the Rolling Stone lists and how much we've talked about, oh, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. and it captures kind of what we used to do before the podcast of like talking about like who do we think is better, this person or this person. And, you know, I always love doing rankings because it's a really fun time.
Yeah, I mean, this is very fun. I mean, some of the rankings are tough. Then others are, as soon as you saw it, you're like, yeah. But and like you said, I like the discussions that come from this.
Yeah, this was fun. Dylan, thank you for putting it together.
Yep.
You know, we talked about 40 different artists in probably 60 different bands, right? All told. And rankings are great because it gets that conversation going. And we could even do this again. Say you do 5 like little, like lesser known guys and stuff like that. But I mean, it would have to be something that we all know. But this is fun. And it's tough doing lists. Like you're like when I first got this list, I'm like, how can I put this guy 5th where this guy? You know what I mean? It's fun to do. I know you guys out there, this was a long episode, but trust me, when we were recording this, it went by like, it seemed like an hour, not even that. Because it's, you know, like we said, it's recording this shit, regardless of the topic, is just an excuse for us to talk about the shit that we love to do and talk about and listen to. And this would be a conversation that we would have 4 feet from me on my front porch if it was, you know, within the realm of being, you know, at least 60 degrees out, which is not even close to that. Not raining. But always great doing these. It was a fun episode, and thank you for putting it together, Dylan. Thanks, BB and BC and Dylan, for all you guys do here. Had a blast on this one. Always fun. And I hope everybody's doing good out there. Hope everyone's having a great spring out there. I'm looking forward to a great summer. And we are officially booked for Monsters of Rock Cruise 2026. Myself, BC, BB, Sonny, Granza, Richie,
Steve and Mike.
No Steven this year. No Steven this year. I guess he's going to Europe next year or so.
Hey, that's cool.
So we have our core cabins from last year. Mo is out. So right now there's 6 of us going from here. Well, 5 of us going from here. Sonny will be in mine and BB's cabin again. So we're booked for that. So everybody out there, thank you for listening. We appreciate you. We love you. Hope everybody stays safe out there. And, talking about Ronnie James Dio, passed away from colon cancer. Guys that are our age, get out there, go see your doctor, get your colonoscopy. It could save your life. Just in all seriousness, I got mine a couple of years ago. I did the home test and it came out positive. Totally scared the shit out of me for like 2 months so I can get an appointment to get an actual colonoscopy. But then when I got it, it was negative. It was a false positive from that test. So scary stuff. So get out there, take care of yourself, take care of your health, and take care of each other. We will see you next time, and there definitely will be a next time.